ready. This is going to be exciting.
Here we go, Corey. Starts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Welcome to the iconic Sebring International Raceway, where the thunder of the GT3 machine echoes through the Florida heat for one of the best showdowns of the season. This is the third 2-hour endurance challenge here at Sebring International, the final long-haul battle before we wrap up the year. And with double points on the line, every lap, every pass, every pit stop could rewrite the championship standings. Drivers and teams are pushing their limits on this brutal 3.74-mile circuit known for its punishing bumps and high-stakes drama. Who will conquer the concrete and asphalt beast today? Strap in, because the green flag is about to drop on a race that could crown heroes or shatter dreams. Welcome to the Goat Locker Racing MK Fire Design Sports Car Series, presented by Zach Graphics, right here on V-Speed, your #1 source of online race coverage. And of course, tonight's series sponsor is MK Fire Design, a design company that specializes in custom wooden flags. Also brought to you by Zach Graphics. They can put your design on almost anything. And Save 22. If you're struggling, reach out. I'm Ken Huber. I got Corey Smith alongside me here in the booth, Tim Jones on production, and cameras tonight are being provided by Dougie Beard. Hey, welcome back, Corey. Are you looking forward to tonight?
Thank you very much, Ken. It is great to be here. Well, you know, I'm just glad to be in a digital Florida rather than, you know, remember where I'm actually at. It's -7 where I'm at right now, so happy to be in warm Florida, nice 75 degrees.
Yeah, no, these guys are going to have a nice track temperature to deal with. It's in the morning, so the sun just came up, so race time will start about 8 o'clock in the morning sim time. So these guys are going to race into the heat of the day. So I imagine as things progress through the night or through the morning, you're going to see this track heat up and these cars are going to start slip sliding around. And these guys are going to have 2 hours, like I said at the top there, to get this thing done. And again, double the points tonight, Corey. So why don't we take a look at our championship standings?
Yeah, at the top, you're going to have Jeremy Gardner. He's got it pretty much all sewn up. We haven't seen Tyler Justice on track tonight, so it looks like he's going to be free and clear to expand that lead, especially on a double points night. But you're seeing some of the people who've raced their way up to the top of the standings. Jamie Libke has worked her way all the way from the late teens all the way up to 4th, just with consistency in good runs and attendance. So a lot of people moving up. Well, the season's winding down, but the action is going to be great tonight.
Yeah, I kind of gave this championship to Jeremy Gardner a couple races ago. Just, you know, my brain wasn't working that night as per normal. And I forgot about this race being double a point. So he's kind of lucky that Tyler Justice is not here tonight, because watching practice, and so far, Jeremy Gardner is struggling a little bit out there tonight.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people have migrated away from their Fords. There's only a couple Fords in the field tonight. But everybody's migrating away as the most recent iRacing update has sort of taken away some of the abilities of those front engine cars. We'll have to see how everybody does tonight on their new wheels.
Well, let's talk about where we're at tonight here at Sebring. Nestled in the heart of Central Florida, Sebring International Raceway is a motorsport colossus forged from the remnants of a World War II airfield, blending raw history with unrelenting challenge. Spanning 3.7 miles of punishing pavement, This hybrid circuit marries smooth asphalt straights with jagged concrete turns, infamous for its bone rattling bumps that test every nut, bolt, and nerve of man and machine. From the high speed rush of the front straight, past the hairpin at turn 7, to the treacherous sunset bend where shadows play tricks under a setting sun, Sebring demands precision, endurance, and sheer grit, earning its reputation as one of the toughest tracks in the world.
Yeah, this
And
track's had a. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was going to say, I had the experience. I raced here the other night, had a blast, and just remembering, the historical nature of this track and the historical nature of it. I think it used to train B-17 pilots back in World War II.
Well, this track's had about a dozen permutations over the last 75 years, but glad it's going to get to that 75th birthday later this month. Tonight's race, like we're doing 2 hours instead of 1. We're also awarding double points. Pit road speed's going to be a whopping 45. You have unlimited sets of tires to use. We're looking at a 1 faster pair, and we're starting off with half fuel. So probably a 2-stop race tonight, maybe a 3 if you, I don't know, have some sort of alternate strategy to try out.
Yeah, we might see some of those guys try some of that strategy. The thing about the way it is with the 50% fuel, you'll start with a half a tank of fuel, but you'll be able to take as much fuel as you want on subsequent stops. So these guys will be able to get an hour's worth of fuel in the car on the first stop. So, it's a matter of if they can make it to that 30-minute mark, and we'll see how many pit stops these guys do indeed take tonight. And Corey, I believe we have a Warrior spotlight out there somewhere.
Well, unfortunately, he's not with us tonight, but we'll talk about him anyway. Let's talk about Mike Swartzen. He's our Warrior spotlight right now. He's our 13th Sebring recipient and the very first responder to earn one of those. He's from Indiana, and he served in the United States Air Force for 4 years in the fire service. During that time, he deployed to Korea and Pakistan in support of our great nation. Once he returned home, he decided to continue his career in the fire services. He's been a firefighter at Indianapolis Airport for the last 20 years. He was introduced to racing by his father, who used to take him and his brother to Road America for IndyCar races when they were young. And now he takes his family to Road America. He enjoys IMSA and F1, and we're happy to have him here in the Goat Locker family.
Absolutely. We had him out on the track a couple of races ago. I was, while you were talking, I was trying to remember what track it was because he missed Road America, which he was very familiar with, and he came out for the following week, and I can't remember what track that was, but he went out there and got a couple positions made. He didn't finish dead last, so he's actually made some improvements. So looking forward to seeing what he does maybe next season. Maybe he'll be out more often.
Yeah, I think it was VIR, but I don't really remember, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, he he's learning the ropes of iRacing, and he's going to be, I'm sure, making quick laps here in no time.
Yeah. Well, we are wrapping up qualifying, and so we're going to have a little bit of a drum roll here before we announce our Jam Printing and Promotion Award poll winner, and that goes to, it looks like Derek Folk is our poll winner for tonight. So Derek Folk on that pole position, going to lead this field to the green flag here. Got James Bailey on his outside, a newcomer to the league. Also, Terry Crutch will start in third. Another newcomer, Chad Gross, will start on his outside in fourth. Tyler Merritt will start in the fifth position. And our points leader, Jeremy Gardner, will start on his outside in P6. Logan Threlkeld is back, and he'll start in that seventh position with Brock Price starting in eighth. Samuel Agee will start in the ninth position, and Zachary Minnis will wrap out your top 10.
Row 6 is going to have Matt Lass and Samuel Joseph in Lamborghinis. Row 7 is going to have Timothy Parker and Oz Exelu, who put a 201-249 down. Row 8 is going to have Wesley Burke with Eddie Smith to his outside. Row 9 is going to have Jamie Lipke in the number 16 Porsche, with another Porsche to the outside of her, number 22, Skylar Daly. Row 10 is going to have Chris Mann and Alexander Sexauer in a pair of green cars. Row 11 is going to have Kevin Calkins, the newcomer, welcome in his Ford Mustang, and he's going to have the 68 of Jason Black to his outside. Row 12 is going to have Jason Kristen in his Chevrolet Corvette, and outside of him is going to be the 13 of Bobby Germain. Row 13 is going to head Chad Tubala, another newcomer to the league, in his McLaren, with DJ Patterson's Aston Martin to the outside. Finally, Noah Hogard with no time posted, going to be in 27th.
Yeah, I was looking there, Corey, and it looks like the last 4 drivers did not take a time, so starting with Bobby Germain. Another interesting note there, we've been talking about how drivers were gravitating towards the Mustang all season long, as that Mustang just seemed to be unbeatable. But we got a front row of Lamborghinis right now as they're starting to warm up the tires. And then we've actually, out of the top 5 positions, 4 of those are Lamborghinis, it looks like. Yep.
Yep, we're
So the
rolling right
Lamborghini-
now to turn 1. Long pace lap here, but yeah, give them a chance to form up, scrub those tires in, and we're going to get set for 2 hours of racing action here on V-Speed.
Yeah, they're going through the first couple of corners right now. And, you know, when you get through turn 1, it's a very hard braking zones, and it's really easy through this section of the track to get the cars really loose. You see the pace car coming under the bridge right now. But we're going to see a lot of action. They're headed down towards the hairpin right now. This is called Big Bend, and another great braking zone. This is what makes Sebring so spectacular. It's one of those tracks you would think, you know, there's no real elevation changes. We're in Central Florida, but the track surface makes up for the fact that there's no elevation changes, and the track is still pretty technical. You know, I consider it one of the more technical tracks in North America.
Yeah, you got your patches of 75-year-old concrete and then a couple of new pave-ins over the last 8 decades. So you know, kind of a mixed bag of surfaces as you make your way around this course, and it definitely provides its challenges. And we're going to see that over the next 2 hours as these guys decide what the pit strategy is going to be and how long they think they can survive on these tires.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing. When do you take tires, you know? And that's what's going through the driver's mind. You know, you got 30 minutes, so you're only going to be able to go about 30 minutes when we take the green flag. And then, you know, after that, you can get a full tank of gas and probably race almost an hour. And then it's going to be a question, do you take tires on that stop, or maybe you wait for the last 30 minutes and then you make an educated guess or calculation whether you should take tires on that last stop or not, and try to run those cars for an hour and a half on old tires.
Yeah, the strategy is going to be key here. Obviously, it started earlier in the week when they made their car selections. You see the Derek Folks and the Chad Grosses, who were typically on the Mustangs. Now we got a front row full of Lamborghinis, and we're going to see how those Lamborghinis can perform this afternoon.
Yeah, the Lamborghinis used to be one of my favorite cars, and I might have to jump back in that thing watching how these guys are doing it. But, yeah, seeing those Lamborghinis up front. But, you know, I don't want to count the Ford out just yet. So Terry Crouch out there, you know, the lone driver out there in the top 5 in that Ford Mustang, he actually has some speed. So you can see the size difference of a Mustang over the Lamborghini. It's just a giant car. But we'll see what the Mustangs can do out here tonight. We're about a couple corners away, 1 turn Sunset Bend away from turning them loose on the green flag here.
Well, between now and the start-finish line, I do want to welcome all the new drivers that have joined in the last week. I know the season's winding down, but definitely welcome aboard, and we'll be ready to have you for next season. And everybody else who's watching who wants to join in, this is a great place to be with a lot of great people of all skill levels, and we're going to see some of that skill tonight.
Well, they're coming through the final corner, Sunset Bend, a very bumpy corner here. I expect that Porsche pace car to duck onto pit lane. 2 Lamborghinis up front. Derek Folks going to take them down to the green flag. They're side by side waiting for that flag, and we are green. The 2 Lamborghinis, James Bailey, Derek Folks side by side. We'll see the cars probably spread out 3-4 wide as they come down. No, they're keeping it nice and mellow here. We can see James Bailey tucks in behind his teammate there, Folk, as they go through turn 1.
Going to be Derek Folk by a couple car lengths, but it's James Bailey right on his tail as they break and go down into turns 3. It's going to be 3 teammates all on each other, but it looks like Terry Crouch is going to get ahead for 3rd as they come around down towards Big Bend.
Well, I got to say, I'm really impressed with, I've always been impressed with Goat Locker Racing. Just watching these guys get through the first couple of corners, I did not see really any calamity back there. Everybody got through pretty cleanly. They're going into the braking zone right now here in the hairpin. of turn 7, and it looks like we're still getting these cars down through these corners nice and clean.
Well, we've gotten everybody through so far. Biggest mover so far, we got Noah Hogard up 7 spots from the start, but Brock Price down 15. So a lot of slicing and dicing there through the first couple turns, but everybody's through safely.
Yeah, Derek Folk under pressure from his teammate James Bailey. They're side by side. Challenge for the lead right now. And both these cars are the same color, so I have to be careful which one I'm calling right now. I believe Derek Folk's still got the lead up front there, yes. So Derek Folk managed to hang on to it.
It's Folk past Bailey by 3 car lengths as they head down to 15. Right on his bumper, Folk's going to pull away just a little bit, coming down to 16, heading down towards Old Mon Straight.
Yeah, now they're down on the straightaway here, headed towards Sunset Bend here. We'll see if we can make another attempt here, see what James Bailey's going to do. But we got a spin in the back here. Samuel Eggy loops that car around, gets in the wall. It looks like he's in the Acura tonight, and going to go back and see exactly what happened here. So he gets up on the curb there, and I think that car was already unsettled from the inside there at Le Mans, and that car just got on the outside curbs there and spun around. So Samuel Eggy not starting the race how he wanted to, but he's got 2 hours, so he'll be able to make some positions back up.
And there's trouble in 17. The 236, the 999, and the 158. Hogard, who was up all those spots, now has a meatball, and DJ Patterson, he's in his Aston, he's got a meatball as well.
Looking at DJ Patterson, just hits the wall. No front clip on that car. You can see the toe is all knocked out on that car. He's going to tow that thing to pit lane. All kinds of damage with that car.
3 cars on pit roads, Patterson, Calkins, and Hogard, all on pit road for damage. But like you said, 2 hours, all you need is to keep it clean and get a couple of people to have trouble in front of you.
Yeah, already people starting to drop. We're looking at Kevin Calkins right now, park and get a tow. You can see in Sunset Bend there, cars just sliding away there. It's really difficult to see. You come into the corner, if the car gets sideways, you really can't see him, and then all of a sudden you have to take evasive action, and then you end up spinning yourself out or collecting the tire barrier or the wall.
Well, rough debut for Kevin Calkins so far. Welcome to Coat Locker Racing, but he'll be all right. He'll collect himself. He'll repair the car, and we'll see him back out on track, hopefully, as we're back with the leaders.
Yeah, checking back in with the leaders, heading through Le Mans here. On to the last straight here, headed towards Sunset Bend. These guys have kind of equalized out, following each other's tire tracks. Derek Folk has opened up a little bit, but just behind them we got a battle, it looks like. It looked like Terry Crouch back there in the Mustang. And then there's a couple cars, Jeremy Gardner behind him, along with Chad Gross.
Well, this is one of those races, especially being 2 hours long, you don't want to push too hard, especially at the start. You can take black flags on incident points. I've already seen Jeremy Gardner take a couple of off tracks. We're going to have to see what that does to him as the race goes on. As we take a look at Tyler Merritt, now back to Jeremy Gardner. Battle for 5th and 6th here. Gardner back in the Corvette, making his way around turn 1,
Yeah, just ahead of him there. I made a mistake. I called out Chad Gross, but that was Tyler Merritt that got by Jeremy Gardner there, headed into Sunset Bend. So those Lamborghinis, another Lamborghini now running his way up to the top 5. So a lot of Lamborghinis up front here, and we'll see if he can track that Mustang down just ahead of him there. So Terry Crouch currently running that Mustang, only Mustang in the top 10.
Well, like we said at the top of the show, only 2 in the field, but he was doing pretty well down to 4th, but still a long way to go as the teammates round out your whole podium at the moment.
Everybody's pretty much gotten single file right now. You can see Tyler Merritt just behind Terry Crouch, and then Chad Gross just ahead of him, and that's those surrounded by Lamborghinis. That poor old Ford looking for a hole and trying to keep up with these Lamborghinis.
We're taking the onboard right now with the 2nd place car of Bailey, right at the bumper of Derek Falk as they're working their way down out of 16 down the long straightaway. I think that Bailey is probably just content with sitting on the back of his teammate right now and trying to wear down some of this time.
Yeah, and then they got their other teammate. I believe that's Chad Gross. So all three of these guys, our top three, are all teammates. And probably just trying to stretch out that lead before they get to racing each other. Just really racing smart and heads up here. Looking further back in the field, see if we got any battles going on. But right now, everybody's pretty much got it single file. As soon as I say that, back here in 16th, got Chad Tubula. Trying to make a pass on the outside there. And I want to say that's Alexander Sexauer.
He made the pass on Sexauer for 15th. Ran it way wide, but made it work as they're heading down towards turn 1. Still got Sexauer on his back. And you got the orange car of Jason Black trying to join the picture here. He ran it wide, took it off track. And that's going to cost him a position to Matt Lass.
As soon as I say there wasn't much racing with the single file stuff, all kinds of things were happening. Logan Threlkeld also made a pass during that time on Zachary Minnis. So Logan Threlkeld making himself known out there as well. Then, of course, we got Eddie Smith out there in the T-Rex Porsche. We haven't seen Eddie out here in a while. I think he might have been out here a couple of weeks ago, but he missed most of the second half of the season. But it's good to see him out here. Him and Logan both. You know, of course, we're missing Tyler Justice tonight, but Eddie Smith, Tyler Justin, Logan Threlkeld, and there's a couple other guys I want to throw in that mix, but those guys tend to all run together, and it's always nice having them out here again tonight.
Well, we know how much the Goat Locker Racing staff does for all of us and how much they do for this organization. So, you know, we know that their time is valuable and they can't always make it, but we're glad when they are here because they make this racing way better.
Looking at a couple cars here go through. That's Brock Price. So he had that incident early on in the race. Currently running in the 18th position. So he's trying to make up some spots that he lost early. He started in the 8th spot. So trying to find his way around some traffic currently.
Well, he's 3 car lengths behind Matt Lass, starting to reel him in, getting that slipstream down the Oldmont straight, headed down towards 17. He's going to look to the outside and hold the line. See if he'll run it wide and have a run coming down the main straightaway to the start-finish line. It looks like he might, as the car in front of him, Last, is running into Sexauer, so it's going to be a 3-car race for 16th place.
Yeah, you can see Sexauer up there in that green Mustang. Brock Price down low going into 1. He's in the Audi, that black and purple bluish Audi. Couldn't quite make the pass there. They're going to head into 2 and 3, see if he can take another look here.
And there's contact between Lass and Sexauer, or excuse me, yeah, Lass and Sexauer, and that's going to give Brock Price 2 positions in just a heartbeat. Take a look at what happened here. You're going to have the 333 as Sexauer, and it looks to look like there was a little bit of contact going into the turn. Yep, it doesn't. Yeah, it just looks like Matt Lass didn't quite get her stopped in time. And that's going to be damage as he hits the tire barrier. We'll have to see how that does for the rest of the race and how much that slows him down.
Yeah, tough break for Sexauer. He was slightly moving up the field by a couple of positions. We're looking back at our second place guy, James Bailey, following that teammate, Derek Folk, just ahead of him. This battle hasn't changed in each other's tire tracks. Oh, but we do have some pressure. They're headed down Ullman Straight now. And I thought James Bailey might have had a little bit of a run there, but apparently not. He's going to tuck back in line, grab that draft, and that's allowing Chad Gross to catch up to the other 2 teammates here as they're going into sunset bed. We're riding along here with James Bailey.
Runs it a little bit wide, trying to get a run coming off of 17 down the main straightaway. Not going to have it for turn 1, but he's going to try to get that slipstream and close the distance for turns 3, 4, and 5. Right behind him, going to brake right at the same time as he does. Right inside the barrier right there. And he's away, and he's starting to close the gap. Going to brake a little bit later and catch the bumper. Not going to be close enough to make a move, but he's trying to keep the distance and trying not to let Derek Folk get away.
Man, when they went through turn 1 is like my favorite corner on this track. You hug that wall about as close as you can get, and when you hit that corner just right, you can feel it. You can just feel the acceleration of the car, and you know you did it right. But you get it wrong, you get the tires off in the dirt, maybe a spin or anything like that. But these guys are showing why they're up front here. Kind of not, I wouldn't say running. Top 4 guys are starting to open up a lead. They got about 2.5 second lead over Terry Crouch, who's currently running in the 4th position. So these 3 cars are starting to pull away just a little bit.
Yeah,
but you can see him back there. He hasn't totally lost contact.
We got the 3 teammates up front, and then you got the 4th, Matt Lass, who's down on pit road in his pit box. He'll be repairing damage that he suffered from the incident earlier. So it's not going to be a 1 through 4 sweep, but so far they got the podium locked out right now.
Yeah, he might have a lot of repairs getting done. Maybe sitting back watching his teammates, cheering his teammates on. There he goes as he pulls away from pit lane. So it seems like anytime I call somebody out, they're doing completely the opposite.
Well, we have our 2 first retirements of the race. Tyler Merritt and Noah Hogard are done. If you remember, they had that incident a few laps ago, and their night is finished already.
Yeah, tough break for Tyler Merritt. Tyler Merritt's won a couple of races here so far this season. Very strong competitive driver. Usually see him and Jeremy Gardner going at it. Tough break for him tonight. We're still watching our leaders go down the front stretch, crossing the start-finish line. 1, 2, 3. You got Derek Folk, James Bailey, Chad Gross. These positions have not changed, but they are starting to really open up a gap over Terry Crouch. Gained about another 0.6 of a second.
We find the godfather of the broadcast himself, Eddie Smith. Just took an incident point for an off track, but still finds himself in the thick of it, currently running in 11th, trying to chase down Timothy Parker, only a few tenths behind. And then he's got Oz Exlu behind him, who's trying to sniff out a couple spots as well.
Yeah, great little battle here happening for these positions for this top 10. Eddie doing a good job there, and had Timothy Parker was able to get around him. God, I want to say Eddie Smith's Porsche doesn't look like it's tracking straight. I think there's damage on that Porsche. So that the rear toe seems to be out on that car. It looks like it was crab walking down the straight there.
Well, that's we still have an hour and 46 minutes to go in this race, so it's a long time to go and very annoying to deal with that damage for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think we'll see him go to pit lane. That's a lot of damage to continue to be out there on the course. I'm curious to see what his steering wheel looks like looking from an onboard, but I bet you he's got a lot of wheel input in that thing. So I guess when he got sides there, we're looking at him right now. We'll have to wait till he gets onto Ullman Straight here, or right here maybe, see how much toe is in that. But just slightly, he's got a little bit of left wheel in that to hold that car straight.
Well, tough break for Eddie. He's up 4 spots from the start, so he was having a good run, shaping up for a nice race tonight, but unfortunately a little bit of damage. We'll have to see how that impacts his night. Certainly going to eat up tires.
Well, he is quick, so this might force him into the 3 stop situation for the night, but we know he can make up position, so he gets that car fixed. Look at that car crab down Ullman Straight here. So significant damage, and you can see the cars closing in. Timothy Parker just behind him in that yellow Porsche. I can't imagine he'll stay out another lap. I think we'll see him go into pit lane.
See the bright yellow car of Skylar Daly. Yep. He's up 6 spots from where he started. So good to see him having a nice run so far. Certainly has evolved, and his skill has improved greatly over the last 15 weeks. As Skylar has Jamie Lipke and Chad Tubula and Brock Price chasing him down.
Yeah, and I think he was able to get by. I want to say that was Chad Tubula. When I was incorrectly calling out drivers there, doing a great job out there though. There's Chad Tubula racing the McLaren here tonight. So kind of a neat looking paint scheme on that. That's one of our new drivers here in Goat Locker Racing. He's currently running in 13th. So having a solid night so far after starting in that 25th position.
Well, while we're watching this battle, let's talk about Save 22. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. Our unwavering mission extends to 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, educate. Save 22.vet.
That is awesome right now. I'm watching Brock Price. He's looking mighty feisty in that Audi just behind them in this 3-car battle going on. Brock Price definitely seems to have some speed right now. Once by, Brock Price started in that 8th position, if you remember, had that early on incident, is trying to race his way back up as they go through the final couple of corners here through Le Mans and then onto Ullman Straight here for the last corner. He's got the inside there.
Contact. Tubular goes around and Brock Price is in the grass.
Yeah, just 2 cars. We're going to go back, take a look, and see what happened here. But I could tell Brock was looking mighty feisty there. You see, he jumps to the inside there. And yeah, Tubular, it looks like Tubular didn't really know he was going to get there. And maybe didn't have time for the spotter to call that one in. We're taking another look here. Oh, it looks like Brock might have drifted out a little bit too. That's a tough place to pass in those S's.
Either way, that's going to ruin Chad Tubula's night. He's going to lose a couple spots. Oh, he's still up 8 on the night, but that's going to cost him points. Not the night he was wanting to have, but welcome to GLR. Rough night for a couple of new folks, isn't it?
Yeah, and a 2-hour race, not the way you want to start it, but there is a chance to make up lots of positions. A lot of drivers love this track, so I'm sure they like to be out here and out here. As we're looking at Timothy Parker currently running in the 10th position. Timothy Parker's got Wesley Burke just ahead of him and Oz Exlu just behind.
Well, we did receive word from Race Control that Matt Last did receive a black flag, and he has served it for getting into the back of Alexander Sexauer. So we haven't seen a ruling yet on if there's anything with the Tubular Price incident, but for now, it's the 198 of Matt Last serving a penalty.
Looking at Matt Last right now, you can see Jeremy Gardner just behind him there. Matt Last, of course, is a lap down after serving that penalty, and Gardner currently running in the 5th position after starting in 6th. They're headed down into Sunset Bend here, and it doesn't look like, there he goes, Matt Last will let him by. This is kind of a tricky corner here. Lots of uneven pavement, a lot of undulation, and there's a really big bump depending on how your car is set up. You can get on the throttle too early and send that thing around. And all these cars are different, you know. So we run 11 different makes out here. I don't know if all 11 out here tonight, but depending on how iRacing has tuned these setups, they're all running a fixed setup. But they all drive different. So when you get on these bumps, this rough concrete out here at Sebring, it could be a handful for certain cars.
And we have received word that Brock Price has been black flagged for the contact earlier. So he's going to have to serve that penalty for his contact with Chad Tubula just a lap ago.
So already seeing some penalties here tonight. We're only 20 minutes into this race, and guys are starting to suffer the consequences here of Sebring. You know, I got to hand it out to our race control guys too. You know, always got to give them a shout out. We got Charles Abert down there watching this thing. He's our official for tonight's race, but all throughout the week, all the series that we run here at Goat Locker, we have dedicated race control people. They don't get paid to do it. They're out here volunteering their time and their expertise to make the racing as clean and exciting as possible.
And we do very much appreciate that. Speaking of all different forms of GLR racing, you definitely say that, especially in a 2-hour race, but this series more than any, it's really just about not making mistakes, right? And defeating yourself. You know, we've seen a lot of mistakes where you've put yourself in a position where you've lost 6 or 7 spots because of contact or running yourself off track. So it's one thing to be fast and it's one thing to be able to race, but it's just another to survive.
Well, speaking of being fast, we're looking at our top 3. It really hasn't changed. Derek Folk leading this pack of teammates, James Bailey and Chad Gross. Just content running in each other's tire tracks right now. Waiting for this first pit stop, which should be coming up in about 10 minutes or so. These cars are starting to get low on fuel. These tires are starting to get hot. We're watching the track heat up. We got a track temperature of 78 degrees, so it's not bad. It's not blistering, and we are, sim time-wise, we're in the wintertime, so we're in December in Florida, so I don't imagine the track temperature will probably get too much above 90 degrees before we finish this race, but it will climb. And as these guys get used to running on a cold track and it heats up, then the cars will start to step out a little bit more, and maybe we'll see some more mistakes.
Well, Ken, put me in the perspective of the race strategist here. What are we looking at? Are we going to go 2 hours on the same set of tires? Are we going to take maybe one tire like we've seen in other races? Or are we just going to take all 4 tires on one of our 2 stops?
Well, it takes when you take 14 gallons of tire or 14 gallons of fuel, you can pretty much get 4 tires on in the same amount of time. So we're watching this battle here. Sorry to break my train of thought here, but we got a really good battle here on the track. I'll come back to the tire strategy right now as we're looking at Black. Looks like Black's going to get by Kristen. Oh, being passed, excuse me, Bobby Germain. Bobby Germain is a guy I haven't talked about. I mentioned we were talking off air about Bobby Germain, one of the stronger road course racers, but haven't seen him out too much this season. He's up 10 spots on the night, but currently running in the 14th position right now in another Audi, just like Brock Price. Well, anyway, as you were asking about the tire situation,
yes,
you can pretty much take in a half tank of fuel. You can get 4 tires put on the car. The strategy I would probably do, I would probably take 4 tires. I don't think I'd want to be out here for 2 hours straight on those old tires. The only thing is it takes about 4 or 5 laps to really get some heat in the tires. And so you do lose a lot of time to somebody that might not have taken tires. But provided that if they're out there for an hour and a half, let's say, between their pit cycles, you'll probably end up running them back down with those fresh tires towards the end of the run.
Taking a look back up at the top 3 here as they run. We do have cars getting onto pit road. Logan Threlkeld coming down for service. You saw in the back of that shot. But here come 1, 2, and 3 folk. Bailey and Gross just about out of fuel. They're going to have to stop here shortly. Will they pit together or are they going to pit separately? The leaders working their way down towards the hairpin, turn 7. Hard braking as they go in there. But they're going to file in order. 1, 2, 3. And work their way down Fangio.
Yeah, so you're talking about we have those cars, Logan Threlkeld on pit lane. So that's interesting. These guys are having to pit right now. Bobby Germain on pit lane as well. So we are only just over 20 minutes, so they couldn't make it to the 30-minute mark. So this is going to be some interesting strategy now play out because they might have to do an extra stop here tonight. We talked about that off air prior to the broadcast. Wasn't sure how this is going to work out, but it doesn't look like these guys are able to take these cars at least 30 minutes.
No, Threlkeld, Libke, Kristen, and Germain all on pit road right now for service. Could not stretch the fuel any further. Will that cost them on the next cycle? As you watch the leaders 1, 2, and 3 coming down Oldmont Straight. I don't know if he's breaking the draft or not.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating what these guys do here. It looks like I'm not sure what that move was.
The 236 is around. It's DJ Patterson's Aston Martin. Having a rough night. He's sitting in 25th place, a couple laps down already, but it looks like he just might have lost it on the curbing, a little back in the gas a little bit too soon. And Jeremy Gardner's on pit road as the leaders think they can make another lap. The leaders are currently running down to turn 3, so clearly they got out ahead and they started saving on each other. But they're working their way, and everybody's going to have to pit sooner or later, right?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. You know, I with people like Logan Threlkeld coming in pit lane, now Jeremy Gardner, I'm just kind of surprised that these guys can stay out. So Lamborghini not only is fast out here tonight, but seems to be having some good fuel mileage, and a little bit of a working with your teammates might help out too.
Wesley Burke also pitting from the back end of the top 10. He's on pit road, as is Chad Tubula, who's made up some of those spots. Good for him. We saw him racing a couple of guys earlier for position, and glad to see he's made his way up. Obviously not too much damage on that car.
Yeah, I'm looking at Jeremy Gardner's Corvette just there ahead. I don't see any tires going on that car, so he might have already got the tires, but there you can see Jeremy Gardner is now away, headed out to the track and back to the racing surface.
Eggy and Burke also in for their service. Well, I expect the leaders to come this time. There's no way they can make it a full half hour, but if they can, that's going to help them later, as they won't have to pit for as long for fuel in the last half of the race.
Yeah, interesting strategy so far. I'm really fascinated. I thought that these cars could go at least 30 minutes here at Sebring. It does. It is one of the more fuel-intensive tracks, but it's not like Spa or one of the ones with the big, massive straights. We'll see. We're going around Sunset, and yeah, it looks like they're all ducking into pit lane. 1, 2, 3, all three Lamborghinis on pit lane. Almost gets into the back of his teammate there. That was James Bailey we were riding along with as they're headed down pit lane, right, racing each other to their pit stalls.
So the top 4 on pit road right now. I expect the rest of the remaining top 10 in this pit cycle to come down. As Zach Minnis is going to hit pit road, I expect Josef and Parker to follow him as well. As we're taking a look at Samuel Josef, and he's going to go down pit road and get his fuel now.
Now, I can't remember, Corey. We're looking at Samuel Josef right now. I can't remember. Was he in the Lamborghini before? I think he's another one of those drivers that made the switch.
Well, it doesn't matter right now, because next year in the spring season of 2026, you have to declare your car and commit to it. So pick your favorite now, because you're not going to be able to switch every single race. As we're taking a look at the Porsche Logan Threlkeld, currently up 20 to 21st. He fell back in the first lap, and unfortunately he's not yet made his way back up, but hopefully some favor will go his way, as the rest of the field has pitted and everybody is either on pit road or made their stop. So the first pit cycle's over about 27 minutes into this race.
Yeah, really unusual seeing Logan Threlkeld back there like that. Had a great starting position there. Was looking forward to maybe him battling with Jeremy Gardner all night long, but no such luck. We're looking at the Lamborghinis, the trio back there. So Derek Folks still leading James Bailey right now. Chad Gross is falling back about 10-15 car lengths behind his other 2 teammates there as they head down towards the hairpin here. Now you can see they're trying to get heat in those tires. And this is what I was talking about. This is a penalty by taking tires, is it takes 3 to 4 laps to really get these tires warmed back up and get your pace speed back up to what you want to run.
Well, Chad Gross spent about 2 seconds longer on pit lane than Derek Folk, and you can see what that's translated to on track. He's about 2.5, 3 seconds back. As now we're taking a look at Bobby Germain and excuse me, Chad Tubula. As Tubula's going to get another position. You know, like I said, he's clawing his way back after that incident at the start of the race. Nice drive for him in his GLR debut.
Yeah, and really nice job, actually. So really putting down some solid lap times and running people down. He's got, looks like he's going to have Skylar Daly ahead of him. That's going to be the next victim if he can catch that yellow Porsche up there. The Tim Jones special out there. Tim Jones was taking a liking to that car, that black Sharpie type shaded Porsche out there, Skylar Daly.
Well, it looks like our big winner on pit road was Eddie Smith and Kevin Calkins. Eddie Smith must have not taken any tires whatsoever, because he's made up several seconds, and that's translated to a couple spots on track. We've also had our third retirement. Brock Price's Audi is done in this race.
Oh, that was unfortunate. He was very fast out here tonight. It was good to see Brock with some speed, but unfortunate incident there going on to Ullman Stretch, having that little bit of contact there with Josef, and kind of his night went downhill after that.
We can take a look at Eddie Smith trying to catch the 911 of Oz Exelu about 1.5 seconds back. Looks like he was making up a little bit of time on the last lap, but we will have to see if he can close the distance as the tires heat up, or as his tires fade, because he didn't take any.
Yeah, Eddie's actually a pretty good road racer here. We watch him go by on the outside down the front stretch, and I believe Oz may have just let him go, but we're looking at another battle through Sunset here. Back up there, Skylar Daly in that yellow Porsche. You got 2 guys behind him.
Oh, there's contact. The Tubula gets run wide. Tubula's been a pinata tonight, unfortunately for him, but he doesn't lose any positions over it, and he's headed for Skylar Daly.
Well, if you remember the last time we looked at him, he was a few car lengths back behind Skylar Daly, but now he's there, and He was taking a look there as they're going into the sunbed, but he's going to do it now on the inside with a really send-it type move. Great job driving skill there with that McLaren. Going to be able to now gap Skylar Daly and set his sights on the next car up in front of him, which is going to be Jamie Lipke.
Well, it looked like Skylar was letting him go, but then now it seems like Skylar's trying to catch back up. So not sure. I don't know if Skylar braked a little late and ran wide or what, but Tubular was there and made the pass very easily.
Tubular looks very fast out there, and I have no doubt with an hour and a half left in this race that he's going to be able to run down the next car, which I said was Jamie Lipke. Jamie's, she's been having a solid night out there as we're looking at Wesley Burke currently running in the 11th position after starting 15th. So Wesley Burke just ahead of Jamie Lipke as we're watching his Acura make his way around the track. And he's got Oz Exlu just in front of him there in that McLaren. Got one of the better battles on the track at the moment.
Can't tell what part of the track they're on. That's Oz Exley, right? Yeah, they're.
Yeah. And around. That was Wesley Burke goes around.
Not sure what happened there, but he's trying to get it righted. Fortunately, nobody behind him. Libke still several seconds back. Was there contact? No, it doesn't look like there's anybody around him.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, gets up on those bumps, and he's hard in the brake because if he didn't get on those brakes, he probably would have got into that quarter panel of the car on the outside there. And that just with the bumps combined with the braking just sent that car around.
Well, you know better than anybody. Certainly better than me because I don't know any better. But too much wheel and too much brake are not a good combination.
Never are. We're looking at Jamie Lipke right now. Started in the 17th position. We've seen her she's really having a good season. In fact, I think, have to go back and take a look, but she is running in the 4th position. So in points, having a solid here night. And this is usually what we see from Jamie Lipke is she'll start somewhat towards mid-pack and then quietly make her way up through the field.
Well, we talk about her at the top of every show the last month. She's worked her way up from the high teens in points and just ran decently clean races. And here she is in 4th as we're about to close out the season. So great runs for her. You know, that's something to build off of as you go into the spring season in 2026.
Well, while we got a moment, I was going to say while we got a moment, we got action here with Skylar Daly again here. So I was going to pull away for an ad read here, but don't want to lose this battle here. Got Skylar Daly and Bobby Germain. Bobby Germain back there in that Audi. And this is what I was talking about, Bobby. It's always fun seeing this guy out here race. He didn't have the greatest starting position. He didn't take a time, actually. He started in 24th. He's up almost 10 positions. Trying to make his way around Skylar Daly as they head through the final corner and onto Ullman stretch here. Doing some solid work out there with that Audi, though.
Well, Jermaine was about a quarter of a second faster last lap. We'll have to see what the scoring pylon says this time around, but he's there and he's ready to make a move as soon as Skylar Daly wants to make a mistake. As you see him run wide through the turn, going to try to get the run. Skylar had to slow down a lot to not clip the barriers, but seems like he's maintained the gap for now as they head down towards turn 1.
Yeah, we'll see if he can make another attempt here, Bobby Germain that is, as we get further down the track here. Had to give up a little bit of time, had to slow that Audi down. This section of the track doesn't seem to favor the Audi right now, but as we get about halfway through the track, then it looks like that Audi will catch back up to that Porsche as he is right now. It's closing in as we get to the hairpin. Maybe he can make a out-braking attempt. No, I don't think he's close enough just yet.
Well, Daly was faster last lap, so pretty even match right here. Just a question of who can stay mistake-free as they're working their way down towards the hairpin in 7. See what Daly takes for a line. Looks like he's going to take kind of the regular line there, and Jermaine has no choice but to just kind of ride along for now.
Yeah, Jermaine lost a few car lengths on that Skylar Daly at the moment. Well, anyway, let me get back to what I was getting ready to do, and that's talk about another one of our sponsors here at Goat Locker Racing, Glove Station. At Glove Station, they are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home do-it-yourself projects to working in industrial environments and everything in between, they've got you covered. With endless amounts of safety products on the market, they want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And that's Glove Station. They've been with this for a few seasons now. And I remember Goat Talk Live, we had the owner of Glove Station on. It seemed like a very nice young man out there and sells some quality stuff.
Well, we're taking a look at the top three here, only separated by less than a second. Folk, Bailey, and Gross, all teammates in their Lamborghinis. So they've, it's kind of been status quo for now. I imagine that team orders are to kind of just hang out and maintain the front, but we'll have to see how that battle shows up and how it turns out in the last 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, they didn't make it quite to the 30-minute mark. So we'll have to see. The next pit stop, they've got an hour worth of fuel in the car right now, so they'll be able to go almost an hour, and that's really going to gauge the whole thing. I was thinking that they were only going to be able to take 50% fuel in their next stop, but this should only be one more stop for this race because, again, they'll be able to take 100% fuel. So there you go. Maybe I should stop drinking Guinness or something like that. I need to be back out on the track.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you can get out there next season, but for now, it's me and you, buddy. We're in this booth together.
For right 2 hours.
I wouldn't rather be with anybody else right now. So the best battle on track though is actually still Daly and Jermaine. Jermaine had it closed right to the bumper, but now is trailing by about 7 or 8 car lengths. As we watch the leaders complete lap 19. Setting a really nice pace there. All pretty much running the same laps. Obviously, they're right there. But again, I think the order of this is going to be determined on pit road. As you now see, Jason Black, who has the purple car of Samuel Eggy behind there. That's the battle for 15th and 16th. And
yeah, Samuel Eggy
behind Daly and Jermaine. So really a 4-way battle for 12th, kind of not too far away from each other. So see how that shapes out.
Yeah, Samuel Eggy mentioned we having a little bit of a tough night. Started in 9th, down to 16th. Trying to take that 15th spot away from Jason Black, but it looks like Jason Black is opening up that gap. But just ahead of them, we got Bobby Jermaine looking to the inside. And it looks like he might have that on Skylar Daly as they go through Sunset Bend. Oh, and Skylar Daly gets really close up to the wall. Very good job holding on to that Porsche because he got up there where that concrete is really rough and almost sent that Porsche around.
Well, Jermaine's got the run going down into turn 1. It was a great pass, and Skylar's losing it into the dirt, trying to maintain the gap, but it's going to lose even more. As you can see now, they are chasing down the 13 car. Excuse me, that is the 13 car. Oh, maybe I need a Guinness.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that does that. So, we're looking back here. I see Logan Threlkeld back there. It looks like he's gotten passed by our 3 leaders there. So Threlkeld, I think he's going another lap down. I'm just going to take a look here.
Only 1 lap down. There are now 19 cars on the lead lap. Because Wesley Burke also took a meatball a few minutes ago. Not quite sure exactly what happened, but unfortunately...
I guess what had happened was Logan was a lap down when he made the pit stop before anybody else, and that's why I was thinking he might be 2 laps down. But it ended up getting back on the lead lap after everybody made their pit stops, but he is going the lap down now. Trying to hang on to the leaders right now. Logan Threlkeld, actually a really good road course racer. Letting our leaders get through. He's got a car coming in behind him here. He's got Terry Crouch in that Mustang, the lone Mustang out there in the top 10. Doing a solid job out there. We haven't talked about him there, Corey. Terry Crouch, really, everybody abandoned the Mustang tonight after the new iRacing build. He's out there currently running in 4th, and he has not lost contact with the leaders.
No, he's kind of kept them at arm's length away. He did have about the same pit road time as everybody else, so he's just doing it by his own skill and nothing else. So good for him. We'll have to see if he can be there at the end.
maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's watching these guys up there in the Lamborghinis. So I got something. He's just sitting back, letting those guys race themselves out, and maybe he'll have something for the last stint of this race. For the third act, as they say. We haven't checked in on Jeremy Gardner in a while. He's still running in 5th. See him back there all by himself, all in that clean air. He is our current points leader, and obviously after tonight, as long as he finishes where he's at, or pretty much finishes the race at this point, he is going to be our champion. But he's been solid all season. Top 3s every race but one. If you remember last week, Corey, or last race with Jeremy Gardner, he barely got that top 3. And it was so amazing to watch. But tonight, really going to take a lot of work for him to get a top 3.
Well, we talked about, running that clean race, and it was incident points, off tracks that accumulated and cost, well, who was it? I can't even remember who it was now. It's been so long, but
it was Red Bull. Oh, yeah, I don't remember the driver either, Corey, but yeah. But Jeremy Gardner was able to sneak away a position because the other guy had to go on to pit lane for too many incident points, but Jeremy Gardner was 1 point away from that himself. Anyway, Terry Crouch has caught up to our leaders. So we started talking about him, and he is back there. He is behind Chad Gross right now. That last Lamborghini in that pack of 3 as we ride on board in that Mustang, doing what it takes out here, and it looks like he's found some speed in that thing.
Well, back to the strategy tent, I'm not fast, so I don't have this problem, but if you are faster than these guys, you just hang back here and save your equipment for the last hour and 15 minutes, and then kind of choose your moment to strike? Or do you make a move now and try to start gapping everybody and forcing them to make a mistake trying to catch you?
Well, it just depends if you think you're a whole bunch faster than they are or not. A lot of times I like to ride back here like he's doing right now, just ride behind, wait for maybe the drivers ahead to make a mistake. And if they do, I get a position. But the other thing I'm monitoring is how did that last pit stop go? How much faster or how much slower was I compared to the top 3? And that might change my strategy a little bit. Maybe I know I have to do a little bit better with the pit stop, the next one. Maybe go with a little bit less fuel, depending on trying to figure out what this last stop is going to take. And that's really going to be key. And maybe he thinks he's got better fuel strategy or better fuel management, and he can go on to pit lane for the last stop and maybe take less fuel than the 3 Lamborghinis that are in front of him.
Well, elsewhere on track, the best battle going on right now is the battle for 14th. It's Daly, Eggy, and Black riding single file, but we're going to have Eggy look to the inside. It looks like there's maybe a little bit of contact, but it looks like everybody gets through safely, working their way through 12 down to 13, making the right hand at the tower. What is going to happen? Does Eggy have a move? No. Maybe setting up after this long straightaway down towards turn 16, get on the Ullman straight.
Yeah, Eggy almost got into the back of Skylar Daly there, but was able to keep it off. And on that same corner, Jason Black, who's just behind him in that orange McLaren, he got a little loose on exit. They're going through Le Mans right now on to Ullman straight. There you go. You're looking at Jason Black here. But Samuel Eggy all over the back of Skylar Daly there, trying to get the run on Ullman and going to try to stay in that draft. And, of course, Skylar Daly's going to defend that inside, but he's got to be very careful. There he goes, pulls back in front of Samuel Eggy. Samuel Eggy now takes a look to the inside.
Oh, and Skylar Daly's going to try to cross him over, but the barriers are going to say something else. But he might have the inside line. He's got a little bit of a run on Eggy as they work their way down the main straightaway towards turn 1.
Eggy's got it, but Skylar Daly would like that position back. Wow, what a move there. I thought that Porsche was going to go out of control there for a moment, but he's going to have to tuck back in line as they go through 1. Maybe look to the inside here. Nope, we'll see what he does in the braking zone here. This is a very tricky corner, actually, when you're on the brakes. You got to be careful not to trail brake too much through that corner. That car will step out on you, but it looks like they all fell in line. And as we watch Eggy get off in the dirt a little bit, that's going to allow Skylar Daly to run him back down towards the hairpin here. Maybe he'll be able to outbrake him here.
Well, back in turn 1, Eggy had to go super shallow as you see Skylar Daly try to take him on the outside. Willie looked to the inside. It looks like Eggy's going to defend very nicely, working their way down 8 and 9 through Fangio.
Eggy making up some positions here tonight after that incident early in the race. It looks like he's got some breathing room, at least a couple car lengths from Skylar Daly now as he opened it up a little bit more through this complex of turns here as they head towards Tower. And you can see that now Skylar Daly's under pressure from Jason Black. So gives Samuel Eggy a little bit of breathing room now.
Well, I wonder if Skylar Daly just kind of put too much heat into his tires, and now he's got to kind of back off and reset, let everything cool down a little bit. But he can't do it for too long because that's going to let Jason Black get by him, who's right there on his bumper.
Back up front with our leaders. Derek Folks still leading this thing. He's got James Bailey, Chad Gross behind him, and Terry Crouch in the lone Mustang out there. Keeping in tow, these 4 guys have been up front all night long like this. We've seen the Mustang and Terry Crouch a little bit further back on the first stint, but he's hanging with these guys in these Lamborghinis right now. But I don't know if he's having to pedal that to keep up or if it's strategy.
Well, Folk was the slowest of the 4 out on the point, so I wonder if he's trying to save gas, maybe stretch out that fuel just a little bit longer. But I got to wonder if all 3 of those bulls up front are on the same strategy.
Well, we're about to find out. They're coming up on some lap traffic. They got Derek Mann just in front of them. A few lap cars, Jason Kristen just after that. But starting to have to deal with more and more lap traffic. They make their way by that lap car of Chris Mann, who politely lets these guys go and let them race it out. But I am interested myself to really see the strategy play out. This next pit stop is going to be crucial because getting that fuel calculation just spot on is going to be the trick.
Yeah, we have another retirement. Kevin Calkins is called it tonight. So one of our 2 Ford Mustangs is done for the night. We still have Terry Crouch up front, but the ponies that dominated the last half of the season are all retiring and calling it a season.
Yeah, it's been quite a season here at Goat Locker Racing, though. This has been an impressive road course series in the GT3 series. Of course, the race director, Tim Jones, has done an awesome job putting this thing together, but this series has really grown. Now, we're looking at, we had 27 cars start the field tonight. You know, we averaged all season long with right around 30. We had some holidays and things like that where we had some shorter car counts. But to be at the end of the season and have almost 30 cars here tonight just shows you how much fun these guys are out here having, whether they're running for a championship or just racing each other. Just to be out here and have the camaraderie and respect for each other, to be out here every Saturday night and racing these GT3 cars.
Absolutely. And, we kind of had to fight against with some of our regulars with the iRacing Endurance Challenge, but we're going to be on a new night next season. We're going to be on a Tuesdays, so no excuse. We're going to have some big fields. We're going to have some multi-class racing, and it's going to be outstanding all season, all the way from January to, May when it finally ends?
Yep. Well, Chad Tubula, you just seen it right there on your screen. Chad Tubula up another position, was able to get by Jamie Lipke. So he's making his way back up towards the front, currently running in the 12th position. Jamie's still having a solid night out there. Chad is running in the 11th position. Jamie Lipke running in the 12th position. Oh, and Jamie missed her braking point, almost got into the back of Chad Tubula, able to just jerk it off the track and save that Porsche really any damage and saved basically Chad Tubula. We're going to take another look at this. Oh, yeah, just way up. Oh, the second cone there. That was way late on the brakes there. And sometimes, you get behind a car. That happens. You can't see your brake markers or you forget to look. And good heads-up driving by Jamie, though, not getting into the back of Chad.
Yeah, she did very well to miss that. So despite missing the brake pedal, she at least missed Tubula, Oh, poor Tubula, this is the first race of GLR, and, that would have been his 3rd incident that he'd been involved in. In the first half of this race. Not
a great way you want to start. And sometimes that happens, but We're looking back at our leader, Derek Folk, there, flashing the lights there. He's got James Bailey right there on his tail. Oh, and the teammate third place, Chad Gross, sideways there on the exit of that last corner. Gave up some time that's allowing Terry Crouch to close in. But Terry Crouch has been there pretty much all night long, just waiting for that Mustang to somehow pounce. This is maybe the first time I'm hoping the Mustang will get up there and race with these boys up front.
Well, Derek Folk was a little bit faster the last lap, so I wonder if the pace is starting to pick up front with the Lamborghini train. Teammates, like we said, they're going to play nice for the first half of the race, but I think things are going to pick up, and we're going to see a dogfight for the end.
Still got some more lap traffic up front that they're dealing with, and I imagine they're going to catch Matt Lass there after about turn 3 or 4, and that's probably not the ideal place that you want to catch lap traffic, but it is what it is. They go through Sunset Bend nice and smooth like they have been, but you see that Lamborghini just ahead of them. That's Matt Lass. And Matt Lass out there not having the night he probably wants to have, but they go into turn 1 here. And everybody gets through here cleanly, headed up to turns 2 and 3. And this is that braking zone I was talking about. You don't want to trail brake too much here. The car will really step out on you if you do, but then after you get through this corner, you can pretty much do that a little bit harder on every other corner on this track. But that's one corner that's really tricky here at Sebring.
Matt Lass is the last car in the lead lap. They are about to catch him, only a few seconds ahead of our leaders. He is out the windshield, so we'll have to see what he's got, or if he's going to defend, or if he's just...
Oh, Matt Lass goes around. Right in front of our leaders. Oh, my God. So that was a close call. Well, Matt Lass made the pass for those guys really easy. We're going to go back and see exactly what happened here.
Well, they're all running as 4 of the identical cars. I thought it was the leader for a second, but ooh, what happened there?
Well, that's getting on the throttle too much early. That car was probably already a little bit sideways, a lot of trail braking there, and stepped on the gas and it just went around. So, that was a close call for our top 4 there.
Well, unfortunately for Matt Lass, that's going to be his second black flag of the race. He'll have another drive-through, and that's a black flag on penalty points this time.
Yeah, you don't want to get too many of those. 26 will send you home, so drive-through penalty for him. Do you know how many incident points he has so far? Oh,
I have a way to look.
Yeah, I wanted to say he had 17, but just looking here. No. Yeah, that's one stat I don't have tonight. I don't have incident point stats. Well, anyway, we're still watching.
We'll hold it against you.
I got enough stuff I'm looking at, I guess. I shouldn't be worried about that. Trying to throw Matt Lass under the bus for incident points, but it's got to be careful from here on out. We're still watching our top 4 here. Head down into turn 2 and 3. Getting through
Jeremy
these
Gardner's
corners.
meatballed.
Oh, no.
You can see that Chevy Corvette is around. It's got some damage. Let's see how it might be stuck. He might be towing.
Looking back at this, headed through Le Mans on the Ullman Straight here. Seen this before. Oh, yeah, gets that car off into the dirt. He went the opposite way that we've seen the other cars go tonight. Just takes a header into that outside wall there. That's where the active runway still is, just on the other side of that wall. But, yeah, he's limping that Corvette to pit road, get this thing, get his fast repair done. Oh, and he goes around again. You can see how tore up the back end of that Corvette is.
That
but
was
he'll try
from 5th place. Unfortunate break for him. That's going to almost certainly take him out of the podium contention.
Yeah, he's still struggling.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, no, we're looking at our leaders. I was still looking at Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy Gardner's still waiting for a break in traffic to nurse that thing to pit lane. It's going to be interesting, though, Corey, because we're going to have just over an hour when he gets that Corvette fixed and topped off with fuel. I don't imagine these cars are going to be able to go a full hour.
No, and Eddie Smith is on pit road as well. I don't think it's a little early to be taking that last pit stop, but I don't know if it's for damage or what.
Well, if you
We'll have to see how
remember,
long
he
he
pitted.
looks.
If you remember, he pitted really early on that first stop. So, and that's what we were talking about. Some of those guys pitted at the 20-minute mark, and I think Eddie was one of those guys. And so, you know, he's just, I guess that's what he thinks his window is. Interesting strategy, though.
Jeremy Gardner finally makes it to his pit stall. The Premier Racing Setups Corvette absolutely destroyed in the rear end. This might end his race, but he does have the faster pair, so he should be back out there.
Back up front, top four have not changed all night long. Derek Folks, James Bailey, Chad Gross, and Terry Crouch. Headed down to turn 7, the hairpin, and I don't imagine this will change. They seem pretty content running. It's almost like they've run endurance races before. They know it's way too early. You're already up there. You're in the lead pack. There's no sense in pushing and making any mistakes. Well, just taking a look here. Why don't we talk about another one of our sponsors there, Corey? I want to talk about MK Fire Designs. They are our title sponsor of this series here tonight. Came on board with us early this season. We're glad to have them, but MK Fire Design is a design company that specializes in custom wooden flags, shirts, hoodies, and hats. The company supports first responders and veterans and is owned by a first responder. He is a firefighter, and if you haven't seen his design, you can go into Discord there. Just go to his website, check it out. Beautiful flags. He did a race winning. I think it was Las Vegas or maybe Phoenix. He did a track type wooden display for one of our race winners for our fundraiser race
that we did. Yeah,
it was absolutely beautiful. We finally got something going on with the lead right now. So James Bailey making an attempt on his teammate there, trying to get by, and it looks like he does. Currently led that time by James Bailey in the lead, but can he hang on to it as they go through one? And it looks like Derek Folk goes back by. So James Bailey led that lap, but Derek Folk now back up front.
Yeah, James Bailey ran it real wide in turn 1. I don't know if that was by design, if that was all part of the plan, team orders or what, but we're very quickly back to our old running order.
Maybe he just wanted to lead a lap. Say, hey, let me go up there and lead one lap. I want to lead one lap this race.
But Terry Crouch has only faded to about 3/4 of a second behind the pack. You know, he has not lost any time at all. He is sticking to them like glue, looking back at Skylar Daly and Jason Black, the closest battle on track that has the possibility of changing in the next 20 minutes. You see Jason Black still working his way, tracing Skylar Daly around as he blinks a little bit out.
Yeah,
but
they are the
safe there. But they're trying to chase down Jamie Libke. They're about 2 seconds behind her, and that would be 12th place for them.
Yeah, they are the last 2 cars on the lead lap there. The last 3 that you're looking at right there with Jamie Libke. So these guys trying to desperately to hold on to that lead lap. They've still got about 20 seconds, maybe 19 seconds before those leaders, about a 19-second gap over the leaders. Actually, looking at my timing right now, it's 16 and a half seconds. Almost an incident there. Jason Black really dove that McLaren in. I thought he was going to get into the back of Skylar Daly there, but was able to somehow hold it off and avoid the contact as they head now down into turn 1.
Black's going to arc it just a little bit wider, half a car width outside, but it comes down to the inside. Not going to close up too much. Inching a little bit closer, going to go look to the inside, not going to have the run as they go through turn 5. Still making up some ground on Jamie Libke, but right now it's going to be Skylar Daly getting the best of Jason Black, at least for now.
Yeah, Jason looked like he was trying to put a lot of pressure on, trying to get by Skylar Daly. I have a feeling these 3 are going to be fighting it out for the rest of the night. It seems once these guys got in order here, this is what they're dealing with. You can see that McLaren is really driving that hard. Got a little bit of the rear tire on the grass. That's why we seen him get a little bit out of shape there behind Skylar Daly, but still doing a masterful job of keeping it on track. Up a few spots. He started in 22nd, up to 14th, so still having a pretty solid night.
Is it too early to be making moves like that? Do you want to use up your stuff, or are you looking to get every position you can and then go from there?
Well, it's hard to say. With the new tire model, it's not quite as bad as the old tire model. The old tire model, if you heated up your tires like that, you had to sit back for 5 laps and let them cool down. But this tire model lets you run these tires a little bit harder. If you do it over and over, it'll eventually slow you down. But I think what Jason Black would like to do is get by Skylar Daly and maybe start looking forward to make up a couple other positions, because, he doesn't want to run behind Skylar Daly all night. As we watch, I think that was Bobby Germain just ahead of him. Just seeing what car that was. Yeah, Bobby Germain had a little bit of a oopsie there coming on to Ullman Straight there right in front of these guys. So it's going to set Bobby Germain back a few positions. We're going to go back and take a look, see exactly what happened. Oh, yeah, catches the grass just like Jeremy Gardner, only this time he just goes onto the inside wall. And his Audi is going to need some repairs. So I imagine he's going to go straight to pit lane, and he does.
And that's where he is, yep. Didn't take a meatball on it, but obviously he's upset the car enough that he's going to need some repairs. First.
Here's the interesting thing. Now we're less than an hour, so you fill that thing up. He might be able to go the entire way, so that incident might not have cost him too bad. He's just going to have to take his pit stop early and get that thing repaired, and hopefully he doesn't do it again.
Back up with the top 4. Folk, Bailey, Gross, Crouch as they run. Derek Folk has led all but 2 laps of this race, or all but 1 lap of this race, as they're on lap 31 right now. Again, and this team has come in and they've decided that we are going to dominate this race and do it our way. So they've stuck to the plan so far, and it's paid off.
Yeah, Chad Gross, the third guy in position there, he's been in the league for a little bit. The other 2 guys just ahead of him are new. So, well, Derek Folk, I shouldn't say that. Derek Folk's won races here. What am I talking about? But Derek Folk and Chad Gross has been around here, and the newcomer being James Bailey. So I imagine they're all buddies, come from other series, but it's nice to see him here at Goat Locker Racing.
Working their way out of 13, down through Bishop. A lot of speed carrying into turns 15. Again, we don't really expect much action out of them right now. I think once they get on pit road, I think that's when the racing is really going to start to pick up for these 3.
Well, the battle further back for that 11th position there, Jamie Lipke and then Skylar Daly and Jason Black. We're looking at Jason Black right now, just behind Skylar Daly. There he goes again. He really charges it in there, swings out wide. It's not the fastest way around Sunset Bend. But we also seen Skylar Daly tend to take it too far to the inside and get that Porsche upset. So I think these guys are going to be locked into this epic battle all night. I don't believe that either driver is faster than the other. Although I can imagine, with the tow that you're getting from Skylar Daly, Jason Black saying, I know I'm faster, but if he does get by that Porsche, he might find out that Skylar Daly is just going to be able to stay in his rearview mirror and try to fight him back.
Big shout out to Chad Tubala in the 330 car. Worked his way back up to the top 10 after the couple of incidents he's been, found his way into. He's continued to make some progress. He's got Samuel Eggy about 7 seconds ahead of him, and then Oz Exelu about 30 seconds ahead. So still plenty of time to catch somebody, but we'll have to see what he can pull off.
Samuel Eggy just spins out in front of him, so he just got that position for free. So Samuel Eggy is going to move back to the 10th position now after that spin in his McLaren there. Got some front end damage, but we might be close to that pit window, be able to get that car in and get it repaired and get it topped off with fuel and make it to the end of this thing.
Well, while we saw that, Logan Threlkeld has meatballed. Logan Threlkeld is on pit road with heavy damage. Not sure what happened to him. We'll have to take a look here in a second, but let's go back to the V-Speed Instant Replay and see if we can find out what happened. Working his way down. Is he going to catch the wall? He's just going to lose it. Oh, big contact into the tires.
That's what you call a full send right there. Man, he went in that corner with no hope of ever making that thing. He went in that corner so fast. Tough break for Logan Threlkeld. Been struggling here tonight, and that did not help. Another retiree, Bobby Germain, ended up retiring, and so he's out of the race after his spin. Logan Threlkeld has got that Porsche after that spin. He went on to pit lane, got that thing fixed. He's back out there, so might be thinking he can make it the rest of the way.
Well, more than half the field has taken a fast repair or is out of the race. So 12 fast repairs have been used. You know, there's only so many left, but, you know, that's why we have them, right? You know, let's see if the idea would be not to use any, like Jamie Lipke. She does pretty well to try to stay out of trouble and ends up being there at the end. She's running in 11th, trying to chase down Samuel Legge for that top 10 spot.
Absolute solid driver all season long. I keep talking about her. You know, that's why she is in the points where she is in that 4th place. Just solid, bringing home those solid finishes in that 911 or whatever those things, RSR. I can't keep track of all the Porsches anymore. I remember when they were just, I remember they were just 911 GT3s, and now they got so many of them I can't keep track of them.
They're 992 GT3 Cups.
There you go.
Not Cups, GT3R. Yeah, I can't keep it either. I'm a little bit better, but not much.
Yeah, you did it better than I did. Of course, the Porsche has never been my car. It was early in the day when I started on iRacing. Porsche was my car, but I don't know. It's fallen out of favor. I've kind of went to the mid-engine cars and haven't looked back.
Well, Jeremy Gardner took an off track, and that's black flagged him. He'll have his pass through on top of the damage that he sustained earlier. So not the night he was trying to have. So I think that the podium is all but out of reach now, as Gardner's going to come down and serve his penalty.
Yeah, we're going to need a sunspot or something, a solar flare, shut this thing down for Gardner to get that top 3 tonight. But I don't think that's going to happen. Looking at our top 4, just these guys have been going at it. While we were talking about the other battles on the track, there was an attempt by James Bailey to get by Chad Gross. Oh, actually, I take that back. Yeah, that's right. The last lap, James Bailey did make an attempt to get by his teammate, but couldn't do it. But now he's fallen back into the clutches of Terry Crouch here. Terry Crouch still staying back there. Nice, solid top 4 for him tonight. I just kind of wonder what he's thinking right now. Jamie Lipke off the track in front of our leaders there in turn 1. Going to go back and see exactly what happened to her here.
Well, unfortunately for her, that's going to make her the now 13th place and the first car a lap down. This looks like she carried a little bit too much speed in there. Too much wheel, too much brake. Doesn't look like she got the wall, though. Great miss. Nice brake job, and that's going to save a lot of damage and save her race.
Well, one thing about it, we're over 40 minutes since all these cars have pitted. So I think, too, these drivers, this is what I was talking about the track heating up. It's up to 82 degrees, so it's maybe up 10 degrees since we started. Not that much, but between tire wear, they only had a short stint, less than 30 minutes that first opening few laps. And now that they're out there and these tires are aging and the track's heating up a little bit, I think that's why you're seeing a lot more of these spins in these unusual corners.
Well, your top 4 is catching some heavy traffic. They've got Skylar Daly, Jason Black, and Samuel Egge all out the window as somebody's around. Couldn't see who it was.
Logan.
Looks like it was Threlkeld again. Couldn't keep the Beaver on track as they work their way down the Ullman Straight.
Well, now we're looking at Skylar Daly there. He's looking around. So these guys are in a battle. So you see our leaders now got a lap car on each side of them. And it looks like gets by one of those cars now working on Skylar Daly. They go through Sunset Bend, and this is probably going to stack these 4 cars up a little bit. And it looks like Terry Crouch might have got the worst of it there.
Well, the freight train of the leaders is trying to get through this battle for position here, the battle for 11th, and that has fanned them out by several car lengths. And, as you see, a nice tight move in there to get around Daly. Had no choice, had to send it or else he was going to lose his teammates. Nicely done by Chad Gross.
Yeah, now can Terry get by here really quick? Oh, and you can see Skylar Daly get up on the dirt there. And Terry Crouch definitely wants to get by that Porsche as soon as possible. The problem is Skylar Daly's he's racing Jason Black back there, so he doesn't want to just slow down because that might allow Jason Black by, but had enough room to let him by in the hairpin here. So did the considerate thing, but that's going to allow Jason Black to close back in to Skylar Daly. We'll watch how this transfolds throughout the night.
Well, Terry Crouch, like you said, the biggest loser and all that, he's now 3 seconds behind the leader, a second and a half behind third place, so he's going to have to hustle and use up a little more tire and fuel to try to get up there back towards the front.
Well, now we get a chance to see if this Mustang's got anything. We're looking at Jason Black right now. Back on the back bumper, these two guys have been locked in Mortal Kombat all night long here. Jason Black trying to get that position taken away from Skylar Daly. Got all the leaders by nice and cleanly. Jason Black was not able to take advantage of that situation. Sometimes, you're letting cars by. You can kind of follow the leaders through and pass your opponent, but it didn't work out for him, at least at that moment.
Now we're taking a look at Samuel Eggy and Chad Tubula. This is the battle for 9th. It's going to be Eggy passing Tubula for 9th, and then they're going to keep battling as they work their way down. Oh, there's contact as they work their way down into 1.
Well, they might each be in a McLaren, but there's no team orders here. You can see that Samuel Eggy's got the damage on the front end of his McLaren there, trying to get by Tubula. Yeah, upgraded arrow, as they would say. So he probably needs to follow back there just to get some good speed out of that McLaren. He's going to try to outbrake him here into turn 7. The hairpin,
and
he
contact.
does. Yeah, there's almost always contact on a pass on turn 7, and usually it goes just like that. You usually don't see a lot of cars melee it. Although we got taking another look there. Now on the inside, now on the outside. Tubula trying to get back by Eggy. Eggy doing a good job at defending that position.
Tubula too close to make a move in turn 13. They're going to take the right hand. He's going to get right behind him and try to close that gap as they head down the bendy straightaway through turn 14 and 15. Can he make a move as they come back onto the straightaway?
Yeah, not so far. That McLaren of Samuel Eggy's doing good with that front end damage. We'll see what happens here on Ullman Straight. How fast Chad Tubula can run that other McLaren down.
Looks like our last pit cycle is starting. Jamie Libke is just wrapping up her service. 1:08 on pit road, so maybe a little damage, and with 4 new tires, we'll have to see how that strategy works out. Is Tubula missing some components, or is that just the color of the carbon fiber?
I was wondering that same thing earlier. I don't know. It looks like he's missing some rear end pieces. I can't really tell. You got if that's true, you got 2 damaged McLarens, and I can't.
Looks like it's all there.
Yeah, it looks like it's all there. I think you're right.
Big shout out to Dougie Beard for some good camera angles that help us do those damage assessments. But a nice cherry blossom paint scheme on that car as he's trying to chase down Samuel Eggy to get 9th place back.
Yeah, Eggy, after he got by, is able to open up just a little bit. Got about 6 car lengths on him. So Eggy opening up that gap as we speak.
Timothy Parker running a nice clean race in 8th place. Haven't really called his name out too much, but put that Porsche everywhere he's needed to, up a handful of spots since the start of the race. And it's good to see if he's got something for Oz Exelu to try to take away that 7th position.
Oz is another fun driver. He came in about halfway through the season. Been here every race, I believe, so far since then. Done a really good job there. Gonna maybe let him by. So it looks like Oz wants to let Timothy Parker by there and not put up too much of a fight. Might be part of his strategy, I guess.
Well, the second pit cycle is open. You see a taker there coming down pit road. It's Jason Kristen pitting from 14th. He's a lap down, but he's going to hopefully stay only 1 lap down. And as the pit cycle ends here in a little bit. But again, like you said, it's been about 47 minutes since the leaders all pitted. So coming up on the end of that fuel window, but they're going to max it out for sure as they are trying to catch up Jeremy Gardner.
Oh, Jamie Lipke off in the background there. You can see her recover that Porsche. That was way off in the background, so another incident for Jamie after her pit stop. It gathers up that Porsche, gets it back on track.
Cost her a spot to Jeremy Gardner as well.
Speaking of Jeremy Gardner's in danger here. He's about to get lapped by our leaders here. Jeremy Gardner not having the night he wanted to have. Currently, he's running away. He's back right now, currently running in the 14th position after being in the top 5 for much of the night. But leaders are starting to make their way by. Gardner doesn't give it up just yet. And it looks like the leader is going to force the issue and take Jeremy Gardner there on the inside. And now the question is can he get the same? Can Chad Gross and Terry Grouch get by cleanly and keep within contact of the top 2?
Well, Bailey forced Gardner wide, almost off into the grass. I think he kind of took exception to that. So I don't know if he's going to make it easy for Chad Gross or if he's going to give him hell as they work their way out of 7 towards Fangio.
Yeah, it looks like Gardner did pull out of the way there as soon as they exited turn 7 there. But did cost Chad a little bit of time there in that third Lamborghini. Terry Crouch is now back. We were talking about that. Terry Crouch had that, got slowed down by some other lap traffic, but he has run those Lamborghinis back down. So I don't know. The Mustang's still looking pretty stout out there.
DJ Patterson taking a black flag on incident points. He's down in Big Bend. Ran off track and got stopped, but now he's back underway, and he'll have to serve a black flag as well as coming around again to get some fuel.
Well, you got to be so careful during these 2-hour races to keep it on the track, not have the incident points because they add up quickly. I think 26 incident points sending you home, and 17 incident points sends you to a drive-through. So you don't have many incident points left once you get that first drive-through, and you got to walk on eggshells for the rest of the race.
Eddie Smith has taken his little final service of the race. He's the last car, only 1 lap down. So he'll be good to go for the rest of the night, and he is currently running in the 13th position.
Eddie's on some kind of strategy. I haven't figured it out yet, but if you remember, it seemed like only 20 minutes ago he was on pit lane, and we talked about it. Him being on pit lane, I think maybe what he wanted to do is take 4 tires to the last stop and have 4 fresh. So he came in for fuel only on the previous stop about 20 minutes ago, and then decided to come in, I'm just guessing here, but for 4 tires and maybe try to speed run the rest of this race out.
Well, you never know. It could have been as simple as he didn't hit the pit macro quite right, but again, we'll have to see what we have in store here for the finish.
Well, 40 minutes to go there or so. Looking at our top 4, still within contact of each other, but no positions have changed basically since the beginning of the race, other than James Bailey being allowed to lead 1 lap. Derek Folk has pretty much led all the other laps and continuing a dominant performance out here. Actually, all 4 of these cars, you want to talk about the leader, he's a dominant guy, but all 4 of these guys doing a fantastic job up here, running up front all night long, staying close to each other. In fact, they've been so good. They've got about a 45-second lead over 5th place Zachary Minnis.
Zachary Minnis, another name we haven't really called a whole lot tonight. He's quietly put up a great race right now. He's in his Porsche, sitting in 5th, started at the back of the top 10, but has kind of only marched forward off of everybody else's mistakes.
Yeah, really solid night for Zachary. It's good to see him out here with a great run here tonight, but we still have, like I said, 40 minutes to go, so anything could happen. But doing what he needs to do and double the points tonight, so he's looking to move up in those standings.
Back following Chad Tubulas, he's going to take a dive down the pit road. Leaders still only 52 minutes on this tank of gas. They got a little bit more left in the tank, at least 1 lap. We'll expect to see them come down.
Yeah, they were able to stretch it out on that first stint quite a ways, so they did about better than anybody. We were kind of surprised, if you remember, how far they were actually able to run these cars. So either it's by design or these guys, some of the other guys behind them are pitting too early. It's hard to say, but I don't think anybody's got anything for these four guys. So they're in their own little world right now. Zachary Menace kind of out there running in fifth in his own world. Nothing in front, nothing behind, kind of just out there in clean air. But these guys just dominating out here tonight. I'm really curious about Terry. And like I said, I haven't been a Mustang fan all season, but tonight I kind of am.
Well, we'll have to see what ZLR has in store. They're probably pretty greedy. They're going to want to coordinate these stops, make sure they all take the same amount of fuel and tires. That way they can come out together, try to get a ZLR lockout for that podium and shut out Terry Crouch.
And this is what I was talking about, this final pit stop here. You got to get your fuel spot on because you can make or break your race. These four guys being so close together, you take an extra gallon of fuel, you can end up being in the fourth position when you were in first. So very tricky situation that all four of these guys are going to have to deal with on this next pit stop. Just ahead of them, we got another lap car. Samuel Agee having a solid night. He's currently on the last car on the lead lap, but they're fast approaching some of these faster guys out here tonight.
Yeah, he'll be due for a tank of fuel here soon as well. But I think sooner or later he's going to get that lap down and put us only on 8 cars. Still a little ways, about 35 seconds, 40 seconds ahead to Oz Exlu, who's currently running in 8th, who will be the last car a lap down, or on the lead lap, excuse me, once Samuel Legge gets past here.
Well, here we go. Terry Crouch on to pit lane, one of our top 4 drivers. This is, we'll have to watch this. Samuel Agee on pit lane as well, but Terry Crouch going to go for the undercut here, I think. Maybe pit a lap early, get some clean air, run a couple of fast laps, and maybe try to make some gains on those Lamborghinis. We'll have to wait and see. So with him coming onto pit lane, I imagine, Corey, that we'll see maybe our leaders next time by.
Well, Terry couldn't just sit there in fourth all night. You can't have 3 teammates in front of you and expect to win that battle. So I think he's going to try and hope that these 3 staying together will they're all trying to run together, so that might slow them down just a little bit as Crouch is completing his service right now. He with a 30.8 second pit stop, so I don't think he took all 4 tires. Enough fuel to go and maybe 1 or 2 tires, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, with nearly 40 minutes to go, that's actually probably a decent stop. Tires are not, because these cars do fuel at the same time you take tires. So it's all a matter of how much fuel you take on during your stop. And I think that's what these guys are looking at. And something happened with James Bailey. He slipped back. I think he got a little sideways. He's trying to fight off Chad Gross right now. Fell back from the leader just a little bit. Now you got this 2-car battle. Leader's got about 3/4 of a second gap over those 2. But this might all be ended here, because I imagine we might see him head to pit lane here this next time by.
Well, unfortunately for Terry Crouch was running into some traffic with Alexander Sexauer, but now Terry Crouch has disappeared from the screen. Don't know if he's having some issues. Going as a DNF in the pits, so I wonder if he had a connection issue that might take away the undercut from his race.
Yeah, that was too bad. I would have loved to see that, but right now we got our top 3 on pit lane. We'll see what these guys do. If they're all talking, I imagine they're all going to take about the same amount of fuel, so the pit stops will probably be pretty equal. Then these guys are going to have to race it out for the rest of the race.
Well, with Terry Crouch out of this race now, I have to wonder what happens to the team motors. There's nobody left to defend, so it's just the 3 of you. How do you want to settle it?
Well, like any race car driver, you go out there and you race your way what you can and try to race your way to the front. I think team orders here with we still got a little over 35 minutes to go. Probably about the last 15, you really start turning up the wick. Oh, our top 2. So Derek Folk and James Bailey off pit lane. Chad Gross with a really slow stop. So Chad Gross now out of that lead pack. He's going to fall back probably 3-4 seconds when this shakes out.
Well, he was about
more
7
than that.
seconds. Yeah, he was 7 seconds slower on pit road, and that's probably going to translate to much more on track, as he's maintaining about a 7-second gap. I don't think that's going to let anybody catch him, as even though Josef is just now getting fairly close within a handful of seconds, but he has not pitted yet.
Yeah, this won't be a battle for position per se, but Sami Yosef, another driver we haven't talked too much about tonight. You can see him in that blue and white Lamborghini out there, having a solid night. Currently running in the 4th position, has yet to make his pit stop, but he's actually showing quite a bit of good pace out there and good driving.
Big shout out to him. He does as many series as he can, and has a pretty good late model racer, and glad to have him on board. As we look now at Derek Folk and James Bailey, the battle for the lead with Chad Gross about 8 seconds behind. They're working their way through Bishop now towards turn 15. Looks like they're just falling in line for right now. James Bailey's a little bit loose there on the cold tires, not all the way up to temperature just yet. Working their way down the Oman Straight. I can't tell if Folk is warming up the tires or just trying to break the draft.
Yeah, it looks
they might
like
just be throwing around. Might just be a formation flight.
Yeah, no, they're trying to get some heat in the tire, especially going through sunset. Want to make sure you got as much heat as possible so the rear end doesn't step out on you. And it does take a couple of laps, like I said, to get these tires warmed up with the new tire model, which is actually quite fantastic. I raced here, I don't know, the other night, last Friday night here in the GTEs on the old tire model. And after getting the new tire model, I always thought the old tire model was pretty good. But now that we're on it with the GTEs, I'm like, hey, you know what? This new tire model that iRacing's got in these GT3s is actually pretty awesome. So you can actually feel, like when you go through the corner, especially on cold tires, seems like you can feel that sidewall flexing. Whereas before you feel like you're on kind of just a sticky tire.
Yep, Sami Yosef and Jason Black pitting from the top 10 for their final service of the race. And
Tubula goes around.
Tubula. Not quite sure what. He's right next to
a lot of
Alexander
damage on
Sexbauer, who just took a black flag on incident point. So I wonder if there was any relation to what happened there.
Yeah, that McLaren is struggling. You can see the rear end is all knocked out. We mentioned earlier there was no damage on the back of that McLaren. Well, there is now. And that toe link is definitely out on that. And having the same issue that Eddie Smith had, you can see that thing crab walking down the straight here, how much wheel he had in it. But he's going to try to get that thing to pit lane and get it repaired, because he definitely doesn't want to be out here for the next 30 minutes with a car with that much damage. Speaking of Eddie Smith. Eddie Smith all over the back of Jason Black right now. Does get that position made. Just seen it right there live on V-Speed. Eddie Smith easily gets around Jason Black. Jason Black still having a really good night out there.
Yeah, I wonder if he it looks like he's just having trouble staying on the track. I wonder, he didn't have anything to, fight Eddie with. So I wonder if he's got old tires and just couldn't quite make it happen for himself. But still, like you said, great night, top 12, top half of the field. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, 2-hour race, and it makes you wonder the way that McLaren's driving, if he stayed out there the entire time with no tires. And after about 50 minutes, 45 minutes, you can really feel these tires fade, even on the new tire model. So you don't really want to be out that long on old tires. But you're right, that McLaren looks like it's really struggling right now.
As we're taking a look back up at the leaders, it's Folk followed by Bailey. Chad Gross has closed it to 5 seconds in the back, but still a long way to go as we're entering the final half hour of this race here. Have to wonder if it's now just a 2-car race for the win. What's James Bailey going to do with Derek Folk? Is he going to push his teammate to the win, or is he going to give him all he can handle?
Yeah, I'm interested there at Chad Gross. He actually is running these leaders down. So he was 7.8 seconds back, so made up a couple seconds already. Now only 5 seconds back, a little over 5 seconds. Currently running down. These are teammates, though, so you have to wonder if maybe they're slowing down a little bit. But I don't know. I'm a race car driver, and if I lose one of my teammates, it's like, well, too bad, so sad. I'm going out here. I'm going to try to win this thing.
Well, I wonder if they just want the picture when they cross the finish line. But yeah, Chad Gross was the fastest car on the track that last lap. Gained 1.8 seconds on the top two. So we'll see if he can keep that up or if he's using up his stuff here in the final half hour.
Well, while we got a moment here, it looks like this battle's not going to change. I'd like to talk about another one of our sponsors. I'm going to talk about our Sunday night Xfinity Series sponsor, InVets. InVets aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and funding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit located in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. They are the title sponsor of the Sunday night Xfinity Series, which will be broadcasting here at Goat Locker Racing right on V-Speed tomorrow night at the same time.
Well, the final half hour of this race has produced a lot of drama. In the last just minute or so, Chad Tubula was in a single car crash. He was in 11th at the time, and he is now out of this race. His race is done, and Jamie Lipke as well has also taken a meatball. Not sure what happened here. We know he had a little bit of damage that he was contending with, but let's see what happened. Makes the turn, goes off. Oh, and he just loses it.
That actually looked
exactly what happened.
It looked like maybe equipment failure, like a wheel came unplugged or something. That car just shot off to the right. Wow, that was wow.
Well, his race is done, and now Jamie Lipke's also on pit road, now all the way down to 18th place. So Tubula and Lipke both have accidents. They're going to cost them lots of spots.
Well, you talked about it at the top of the broadcast there, Corey. Attrition was probably going to be pretty big here tonight. 2-hour race, and we've lost quite a few drivers. We only got 7 cars on the lead lap currently. Oz Exlu being the last car. Watching our 2 leaders right now, James Bailey, all over the back of Derek Folk, but so far they haven't made any attempts to pass each other there. You see a little bit of gamesmanship back there on the straightaway. But Chad Gross is closing back into this picture. And yeah, I am wondering about TV time, or maybe Chad Gross is just really fast.
Well, I don't know what happened to Chad Gross, but he's one of the 16 out of the 27 drivers who started this race and have used a fast repair. So I wonder if he just had a little contact with some teammates earlier in the race, and maybe that's what held him up on pit road on that last stop.
Speaking of pit road, I see Jeremy Gardner. He's exiting pit road right now. Gardner definitely not having the night he wanted tonight. You know, if you're going to fail, it's good to do it at the end of the season when you basically got this thing locked up. Jeremy Gardner, our points leader, on a double points night. Everybody's going to be able to double up on points on him, but it's still not going to be enough, especially with Tyler Justice not being in this race tonight. But Gardner having a tough night, currently running 14th position after starting in 6th and pretty much being a podium finisher all season long. Ain't going to be that way tonight.
Yeah, big shout out to Big Pookie. We still love you no matter what. Forever our champion. We'll make sure we have the ceremony next week. The coronation, if you will. Back to the leaders. It's Folk and Bailey right on each other. You see Chad Gross now coming back into the picture. Closed it to 2.5 seconds. This is not over yet. I don't know how they're going to dissect this with team orders, but it looks like it's still going to be ZLR 1, 2, 3.
Well, Derek Folk has been here. He's got a couple wins on the season. That's our current leader right now. James Bailey, one of the newcomers, and then Chad Gross has been around for a few races. So we'll have to see. We haven't seen anything from James Bailey, so we'll see what he's got in the tank here as this race comes to an end. We'll see if these guys really turn up the heat on each other. But you can see Chad Gross back there in that third Lamborghini starting to run these guys almost now within 2.5 seconds. So 2.8 at the moment, but that gap continues to shrink.
And Folk actually went off into the grass on the inside on that last turn. Again, I don't know if they're messing with each other or if they're just playing around at this point, but he didn't take an off track for it, but we'll have to keep an eye on what the heck they're doing up there.
Not a whole lot of other battles on the track. That's why we're on these top 2. Like I said, only 7 cars on the lead lap. We've got Zachary Menace back there currently running in the 4 spot. We talked about him a little bit earlier. We haven't talked about him a lot, but doing what he needs to do in that Porsche. The top running Porsche out there tonight. We've seen a lot of guys in Porsches out here, but he's done a great job with his.
As we work our way through the field, let's go back one more spot to 5th place, Samuel Yosef. Samuel Yosef up 7 spots from 12th where he started, having a nice run in that Lamborghini. He hasn't used his fast repair yet, so he's still got that in his back pocket. He kept it pretty clean and doing a nice job, having a good points night on the double points night. Going back to 6th with Timothy Parker. Timothy Parker's Porsche doing pretty nicely. Also up 7 spots, having a good night for him. Further on back, the 911 of Oz Exelu currently riding around in 7th. He pitted 4 laps ago, but he's up a total of 7 spots from where he started. That rounds out your lead lap, and then the first car lap down is going to be the 8th place car of Samuel Eggy. You can see he's got a little bit of damage to that front, but otherwise doing pretty well. He's used his fast repair, and that purple machine, first car lap down, doing pretty good though. Up 1 spot from where he started.
Yeah, other than our leaders, there really isn't any close battles going on the track right now. Derek Folk and James Bailey going. We're looking at Skylar Daly, another one of those guys in the Porsche here in that Magic Marker Porsche. Getting it done here in 9th.
The 851 of Chris Mann has taken a black flag on incident points, so he's getting around the track right now, but he's going to have to go serve a penalty once he gets back down the Oman Straight. Started 19th, up a couple spots. Tried to keep it clean, but used up his fast repair from an incident earlier. Now taking a black flag on points after getting an off track.
Well, let's go back to our old standard bearer, Eddie Smith, currently running in the 10th position. So you seen him take that pit stop a while ago. He's going by the lap car of Alexander Sexauer right now. Got Chris Mann just ahead of him. Chris Mann is a lap down based on where Eddie is, a lap further down, multiple laps down. Eddie's just 1 lap down. Trying to run down Skylar Daly. You've seen Skylar Daly in that yellow Porsche, in the Magic Marker Porsche. Eddie doing his best after returning to the GT3 series, going to double up on points. And Eddie is currently he's up there in the points. I believe he's 2nd place. So, or no, he's 3rd place, and he missed a bunch of races. So, you know, he's trying to hang on to that 3rd position and doing what he can. He's going to need to fend off Jamie Lipke, especially on a double points night, and he's close enough to maybe do it here tonight.
Well, I haven't seen Jamie Lipke back out on track. Been towing for the last 7 minutes, so I'm going to say her night is probably done, and she's going to end up in 19th place for the night, unless DJ Patterson can get a couple more laps down, and 20th will be the furthest she can fall. Not how you wanted to end that double points night, but, you know, new season starts January 12th, I think, right? 13th, whatever. Second week of January,
if you say
we'll be
it'll
partying.
be so.
Yep. Second week of January, everybody's got no points.
Looking forward to the holiday break that we'll have here. A nice 3-week break. Everybody will get a chance to drive the new cars with the new iRacing build and figure out what they want to drive. We all had to choose our cars already, but I imagine as long as you change your car prior to the start of the first race, you're fine. Well, surely we're going to see some people pick some Lamborghinis because they look tough out here tonight.
Well, you said winter break. It's not a complete winter break. We actually do have an event on January 3rd, so we're having a 50-50 race. So $20 to get in, and if you can pull that win off, it's a max of 43 drivers. But if we can get in there and you can beat everybody, you can take home half that pot. Nice little. It's going to be, I believe it's going to be a Daytona truck race. So you never know what happens there. That's like pulling a slot machine anyway, right?
That's pretty much it. But it also helps out the league. You know, Goat Locker Racing is a nonprofit. We work for our first responders and veterans, so it also helps the league out. Another thing that helps the league out as we ride on board here is check out our web store. The web store has lots of neat things. I just got a hat and some dog tags, which are pretty cool. But if you haven't checked out the Goat Locker web store for all your swag and stuff, you can go out there and represent. Really proud to be a member here at Goat Locker Racing. Very happy to be broadcasting these races. And it's just an honor serving our veterans and our first responders in this community again.
Well, if you're going to go to the GoatLockerRacing.org web store, I do have to recommend personally the hoodie. I'm a big fan of the hoodie. I'm wearing it right now. It's a nice heather charcoal, and I love this thing. I hope they come out with it in a few more colors, so I can buy them all.
Well, looking at this lead pack here, still looking at the second place driver, James Bailey. He did run down the leader there, Derek Folk, really strong there on the backstretch. Got up, basically was pushing him, but then backed it off going into sunset. But don't look now, Chad Gross is back with his teammates here. So all three of these Lamborghinis, all within a second of each other now, back to pacing this field.
Elsewhere on track, DJ Patterson has towed to the pits. May not pass Jamie Libke for 19th after all, so she might be safe there. On board with Jason Kristen in 13th place. Kristen up 10 spots from starting 23rd. Not running the fastest lap times, kind of the slowest out of everybody that's still on track. But all you got to do is keep 4 tires on the road, and you'll be there at the end as he's about to go a second lap down.
Yeah, you can see the leaders all there behind him, closing in. I'll imagine he'll let him go there. Derek Folk continues to lead this race every lap but one, where I believe he let James Bailey lead a lap. And we'll see if James Bailey will try to take that away towards the end of this thing. But James is starting to, looks like he's getting a lot more feisty back there. Maybe not content running second anymore. This might, now that these 3 cars are all hooked up, might be time to start racing.
We'll have to see what's in store here as we're at the waning minutes. It's power hour here, 18 minutes to go. Again, we don't know the team orders. Are they going to battle this out? And is this going to be a dogfight, or are we just here for a really nice, pretty picture?
Yeah. Yeah, let's hope. I hope it's a dogfight, because it could be really interesting watching these cars. Kind of hard to keep track. They're all in the same car, so kind of hard to keep track of who's who. I keep on having to look at my timing and scoring and make sure they're still lined up properly. But you can see there, Folk leading this thing, Bailey and then Gross. Still waiting for these guys to turn up the wick and see if they'll start battling each other. They're quite a ways. They got Oz Exelu to be the next car going a lap down, and Oz is just about 12, 13 seconds ahead of our leaders, so they're going to have some clean track for a while.
Oz is running some pretty good lap times. He was only a couple tenths slower than Derek Folk that last lap, so maybe he can hold him off for another 17 minutes, and we'll see. He's working his McLaren down into turn 7, so as he works his way down, Fangio, a nice run for him. Happy to see him have some success tonight.
I was watching our leaders, James Bailey, taking a peek on the leader, Derek Folk, so it does look like it's heating up front there. Took a look to the inside, didn't quite have the run he wanted. But you can see a little bit of defense there from our leader, Derek Folk, so it looks like James Bailey is starting to put some pressure on Derek Folk, and it looks like it might be showtime.
Well, we only got about 15 minutes left in this race. We'll have to see what's in store. They are driving a little bit harder. The last lap was a couple tenths faster than the ones they've previously been running. Still not quite the pace they were setting at the start of the race, but the pace is picking up here slowly as we build towards the end of this race.
Yeah, if not the pace, the pressure definitely is, and we'll see. We'll see if James Bailey's got anything and what the team orders are, but didn't quite have the run that he had last time as we go down Ullman Straight, headed into sunset, which is actually this time of day, it's actually sunrise, so the sun is in their rearview mirrors at that point of the track. They come around here. I don't know, have you raced here before at sunset, Corey?
Not a ton. I don't have a lot of Sebring experience. I know there's a lot of strategies as you see Derek Folk guarding the inside on that last turn. See what he does here. I think he's going to hug the inside of those jersey barriers as they work their way down towards turn 3.
Well, to give you an idea about sunset, during sunset, that the corner is blinding. You can't see. You don't need sunglasses. You need welding goggles to get through that corner when that sun's setting.
I'll keep that in mind for the when the officials come here. I guess we're coming back here next season, aren't we?
Yeah, next season, I think we're on Tuesday night. So I'm not sure. We haven't got all the broadcast schedule figured out, but next season it is on Tuesday night. So we're moving the GT3 series, and it's going to be multi-class racing. So we'll have GTPs and GT3s out there next season.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be great. A little bit of a gap forming between Falk and Bailey. Looks like it's closing it back up now. Chad Gross still about a second or so back. Can't really, he was as close as half a second, but can't seem to catch the front two. They work their way down turn 14 to Bishop.
Yeah, nothing doing just yet. Still waiting for Bailey to make another attempt at it. Looks like he's just falling back in line, cooling those tires down, and doesn't look like he'll have the run to beat him in the sunset, even with the draft. The draft isn't what it used to be. Back in the old days of iRacing, it felt like you were racing these things at Daytona. You would pick up so much speed, but it's been made a little bit more realistic. These cars do punch a hole in the air, especially with that wing, but some cars are better than others. It's another one of those great things about having 11 different makes and models out there is you get different behaviors. Like I can tell you the big cars like the BMW and stuff like that will punch a huge hole in the air. And then some of the other smaller cars like the 296, the Ferrari, which I don't believe we even have one out there tonight. Those cars are quite streamlined and don't punch a big hole in the air in front of them.
Well, as we approach the final 13 minutes, we're still running ZLR 1, 2, 3, Folk, Bailey, and Gross in that order, all within 1 second of each other. Not really anybody else a threat as we lost Terry Crouch to packet loss. So it's going to be interesting to see how that undercut work. I guess we'll have to wait till next week, won't we?
Yeah, we certainly will. We're looking at Zachary Minnis currently running in fourth. Talked about him before, bringing your attention to him again because he's having such a solid night there. Kind of running all by himself. He's got a lap car just behind him of Eddie Smith. Eddie Smith also in the Porsche, but Zachary Minnis, your top running Porsche, doing what he's known best for, just having a really solid night, running up here in the top 5. It's nice to see him have a good run like this.
Yeah, he a little bit of attrition required to get up through the field, but he's used his fast repair for an instant, so glad he stuck it out. He's going to end up with a top 10. I'm actually surprised we still have 18 cars in this race on the road right now, only 9 retirements. So I don't know how many cars left. You know, it's going to be those off tracks that get people. We'll have to see how much they can kind of keep the rubber to the pavement here in the last 11 minutes.
Watching that Porsche is a Porsche of Zachary Minnis navigate through the back half of the track here. Eddie Smith in tow. Eddie Smith an additional lap down back there just behind him. Well, Eddie's 1 lap down, I should say. Poor Eddie just didn't have the night he wanted to have. He is going to be okay, I think, with Jamie Lipke falling out of this race. I think he's out here to keep his name, stay on the podium of the points battle. But we've seen Eddie do much better out here. He's usually in the top 10, currently running in 10th, but top 5, top 10 usually every week for Eddie when he is here.
Well, Eddie was about 180 odd points ahead of Jamie Lipke coming into tonight. And with Lipke's retirement and 20th place finish being all but certain, Eddie's going to build significantly off that lead, and that should be enough to protect 3rd place going into next week.
I'm looking a little bit further back at our 6th place driver, Timothy Parker. Another one of those new drivers out here. He's got Logan Threlkeld behind him. Logan Threlkeld is a lap down, so not a battle for position. Another couple of Porsches back here, though. Oh, and as soon as we go to him, Timothy Parker runs that thing out wide, out on the Ullman straight, out on the grass, lets the lap car of Logan Threlkeld by. So Logan will probably have to let him by. Logan might be actually a little bit faster, but Logan, if you remember, sent it off into sunset early in this race, like he didn't even have a brake pedal in that car, and got some damage on that thing. That's why he finds himself a lap down.
Well, Threlkeld followed him right off track, but still had enough speed carried through to as we have a pass for the lead. James Bailey has gone past Derek Folk, and Derek Folk has moved all the way back to third. I got to wonder if this is all part of the plan or if they are making moves here in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of surprising when you're running back there in the tow like that, saving gas. You would think they would have beat him on pit lane, but maybe this is part of the strategy here. James Bailey now going to lead his second lap of the night. Chad Gross just behind him. So Derek Folk has slipped back about 3 or 4 car lengths now as second and third, previously trying to run away from the guy that's led pretty much this entire race.
And now you're looking through the windshield of Derek Folk, now back in third place. Hasn't had to contend with any traffic tonight on the lead lap, as he's now looking out to Chad Gross's rear bumper. Again, we don't know. We'll find out in the post-race interviews, but was this part of the plan, or did they turn the dogs loose?
Yeah, well, Bailey tried to stretch it out there. Gets a little wide on the exit of 7, the hairpin, as we head down the track here, but he is opening a gap over Chad Gross. Chad Gross and Derek Folk are kind of going at it right now, but it looks like James Bailey is starting to open up that a little bit. We'll have to wait and see if he can continue that march ahead, but starting to step away from his teammates.
I guess it's not for the photo, right? We got 8 minutes left to decide this. Not sure how it's going to end. All we know is that Derek Folk has led an hour and 48 minutes of this, and now suddenly James Bailey is back in the lead.
James Bailey has stretched that lead out even further as they go through Le Mans here and then on to Ullman Straight. He is continuing to open up that, and Chad Gross is starting to lose contact with him. And Derek Folk, wow, what a change of events. Just hanging on to third, but when I say hanging on, they've pretty much got over a minute over the rest of the field. So these guys have done this in dominant fashion.
Well, while that's been happening, Logan Threlkeld has unfortunately taken a meatball, and having used his fast repair already, this may end his night with only 7 minutes to go. So tough break for Logan. He's going to fall back probably to about 16th or 17th, not where he wanted to end up, but had a good night for an hour and 52 minutes.
Yeah, he was 7th in points, so he is having a solid night, just like Eddie Smith. Towards the second half of the season, he missed a bunch of races. We had all the holidays and whatnot, and life events. Was unable to make much of the second half of the season. Shows up here tonight. Didn't have the night he wanted, but these top 3 starting to close it back up. Chad Gross closing back into this picture right now. I thought James Bailey was starting to step away, but apparently not. These 2 Lamborghinis behind him are starting to catch him.
Well, it's Bailey, Gross, Folk, the ZLR trio, working their way down Fangio towards turn 10. Only 6.5 minutes left to go. The snake is closed back up. They're right on each other's bumpers, as Timothy Parker, now in 6th place, has taken a black flag on incident points. So more trouble for people in the top 10. He'll still have a good finish, better than where he qualified.
So looking back here at Eddie Smith. So Eddie Smith, we've actually got a battle here just a little bit. It's a ways off yet, but Eddie Smith is close in on the 9th position of Skylar Daly. If you remember, Skylar Daly is in that yellow Porsche, but he's about 4 seconds ahead of that, 4.5 seconds ahead of Eddie Smith. But Eddie Smith can see that Porsche in front of him, so maybe he can get another position taken away here tonight.
I think he's going to use the draft of Zach Minnis to try to catch Skylar Daly and try to see if he can get around him. 3 Porsches all running within a few seconds of each other here in the last 5 minutes of this race. Don't know if Eddie's going to have enough time. He might come up just a little bit short.
Yeah,
He
Zachary
was-
Minnis.
He was 2
Oh, go
seconds
ahead.
faster. He was 2 seconds faster last lap, so he might have just enough time. As we see our leaders catching up with Timothy Parker. Timothy Parker in 7th, so that's going to put us down to 6 cars on the lead lap, and there might be 4 by the end of the night, as we're only about 10 seconds behind Yosef and Minnis, or excuse me, Exelu and Yosef.
Yeah, and the clock's ticking as well, so 4.5 minutes or thereabouts before this race is ended. Now, depends on when the leader crosses the start-finish line, whether it goes an extra lap or not, and that's what we're waiting to see, timing this out for when they do cross the line. But it looks like about 3 laps to go as we're watching these Lamborghinis just been dominating all night long.
Working their way through Collier right now, down towards turn 13, the right-hander. You can see that Derek Folk's kind of a late breaker, but that kind of costs him on corner exit as they string it back out about 8 car lengths off of each other. Working their way down. They've still got some lap traffic about 8 seconds ahead. We'll see if that plays a factor, if these guys are racing or if they are just hanging out here for the last few minutes.
Yeah, Oz Exlu up there in that 6th position. That's who they're closing in on. And Sammy Yosef as well. So actually that looks like maybe a battle on the track currently. So just ahead of our leaders, we got 2 guys fighting for a position, fighting for that 5th spot. You can see there, looking at Samuel Yosef, up there in that white and blue Lamborghini.
Couple of battles shaping up on track. We have Exelu and Yosef fighting for 6th, and then we have Gardner catching Jason Kristen all the way back to a couple laps down in 12th. So 2 decent battles still here in the closing minutes of this race.
Well, if you're not counting the lead pack battle, of course.
We'll wait for them to start cracking their knuckles and start fighting each other for that win.
Still,
Take a look
we're
Go
watching Samuel Yosef right now, trying to keep that distance from Oz Exelu just behind him. One of the other battles on the track, Oz Exelu in the McLaren. And if you remember, Oz had some carnage on the back end of that car earlier on in this race, but did a great job getting back up here to the 6th position.
Yeah, Yosef had to go to pit lane, and that cost him this spot because it allowed Oz Exelu. It hasn't cost him the spot yet, obviously, but Oz Exelu is there and ready to make a move. We'll see if he can close or not.
Well, I'm just looking at the timer here, and we've got almost 2 minutes. The leaders aren't up to the start-finish line, so I think next time by we are going to get the white flag. So less than a lap and a half away from the finish of this thing, from this 2-hour monster that we've had here tonight. There's our 3 leaders, James Bailey, Chad Gross. Watch Jeremy Gardner now. Looks like he's going to take that position.
Gardner's going to pass Kristen for 12th place. Not really anybody else I think that he's got a chance to catch. He's 48 seconds behind Jason Black, who is only 1 lap down currently. Back up front, still running Bailey, Gross, Folk, all within a second of each other here with 1.5 minutes left to go. Here they come to take the white flag. 1 lap to go at Sebring.
Well, Derek Folk led this thing for the first hour and 50 minutes, and then once James Bailey got by, trying to hang on up front there, stay ahead of his teammates, doing a great job. But Derek Folk looking to try to maybe get something back. He's got Chad Gross just ahead of him, but these 3 drivers, the 2 behind James Bailey, are going to have to think of some trick, because James Bailey, once he passed these guys, as I wouldn't say set sail, but showing how strong he is.
Doesn't look like they're battling each other too hard right here. Working their way down the Fangio straightaway for the final time. Starting to spread out just a little bit more. Don't think there's going to be a battle here for the win.
We go through the final couple of corners. So I shouldn't say the final couple of corners, but about 5 corners to go here. They got one lap car just ahead of them. That's Samuel Yosef in that Lamborghini there. Talked about Samuel a little bit here tonight. Samuel Yosef currently running in the 5th position. Probably would like to stay on the lead lap to finish this race, but you know, James Bailey, now that he's up front, isn't want to get slowed up by Samuel. So we'll see what they do. It looks like there might be enough of a gap. It isn't like Samuel Yosef is slow.
No, they're working their way down Ullman straight for the last time. It's going to be one turn. Looks like they're going to form it up here and take a nice photo at the end. Not quite sure if they've determined the running order. But here they are in a wedge formation coming around turn 17 for the last time.
Round in the corner, Derek Folk led most of this race, but it looks like it's going to go to James Bailey. Looks like they decided who was going to win. James Bailey, then Chad Gross and Derek Folk are your top 3 tonight.
What a race. Absolute domination by the ZLR team, putting 3 out of 4 cars on the podium. Win's going to go to James Bailey. Only led 1 lap during earlier in the race and then the last 6. So ZLR gets it done tonight.
Looking back further in the field, you have to go a ways back for that 4th position. So that's Zachary Menace waiting for our lead lap cars to cross the line here. Zachary Menace having a solid night. We talked about him a few times tonight. Gonna bring that Porsche home in 4th. Hasn't got up to the start finish just light. He's on Ullman stretch. One of the last corners, he runs it off in the dirt. Maybe that's for a little bit of TV time there, but awesome job there by Zachary as he rounds the Sunset Bend for the last time.
Yep, and then we're gonna have Samuel Yosef be the last car in 5th on the lead lap. Did well to hold everybody off, so nice job for him.
All right, well, we are going to take a commercial break. We'll be back with your unofficial results, and we'll talk to our podium finishers tonight.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your glove station.
We're back live at Sebring International Race. We just concluded our last 2-hour endurance race of the season, and what a race it was. We had 3 teammates basically dominate this race. Our race winner, James Bailey comes back the last 10 minutes of the race for the win over his teammate Derek Folk. Chad Gross finishes just behind him there in second place, had a solid run, pretty much ran in third all night long, ends up in second. Derek Folk, commanding lead of this race for the first hour and 50 minutes, will bring home your podium. Zachary Minnis, what a heck of a performance out by him tonight, finishes fourth. Sam Yosef, another great performer out there with fifth. Oz Exelu, your driver, one lap down, the first car a lap down, I should say, will finish in sixth. Timothy Parker will finish P7. Samuel Eggy, P8. Skylar Daly, P9. Eddie Smith is your top 10 finisher.
We got the number 11 or the number 68 car finishing 11th. We got Big Daddy Jeremy Gardner coming home in 12th. Not the night he wanted to have. Jason Kristen in 13th. Matt Last 14th. Alexander Sexauer rounding out your top 15. Chris Mann in 16th. Logan Threlkeld was 17th. DJ Patterson finishing 18th with our new guy Tubula in 19th and Jamie Libke in 20th. We had the 59 car of Crouch in 21st, Bobby Germain 22nd, Calkins, Burke, Price, Merritt, and Hogard round out your field.
Well, that was exciting, but I heard you're with our race winner there, Corey. Wonder what our race winner, James Bailey, has to say about tonight's race.
All right, Ken, well, I'm down here with race winner James Bailey. James, well, your team put out 4 cars and put 3 of them on the podium. How did you guys get it done tonight, and what were the team orders?
Yeah, I mean, we were just absolutely dominant, as you could see. I mean, we were just taking a commanding lead. Me and Derek were just kind of just playing along with each other, just kind of just doing our own thing and trying to help Chad out a little bit because he had some pressure behind. But yeah, no, it was a great race. I really enjoyed it.
Did you guys get a chance to race at the end, or was this kind of predetermined in the strategy meeting earlier today?
Yeah, we with a couple minutes left, we raced for a couple laps. It was just me and Derek on very similar pace, so it's pretty hard to get around him. You know, he made a mistake, and me and Chad capitalized on it.
All right, well, who do you have to thank for getting you this win tonight?
Obviously ZLR, the Zoot Lord squad. They're doing me great. Do Lincoln Tech, Save 22, MK Fire Design, Zach Graphics, and Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs.
All right, well, that's James Bailey, tonight's race winner here at Sebring. Ken Huber has second place finisher Chad Gross.
Yeah, this is Ken Huber in the booth. You got a copy?
Sure can.
Hey, great job seeing you and your teammates race pretty much nose to tail all night long. You were in that third position, but somehow you come home second. I know you guys are all teammates, but how did that transpire?
Oh, it was a great race out there. There's a little bit of team strategy involved for sure. Maybe some team orders. We thought there was a couple suspect moments out there on the track, and Derek was a real great guy. Let me come in P2.
Well, yeah, it was a great job. Do you plan on being here next week? We've seen you race out here before. Next week we are going to be doing our final race of the season at Monza. Do you think it's going to play out very similar?
We definitely love to be out here. You know, the group of guys has been fantastic to race with. We've had a lot of close battles with a couple of guys that have joined in. So I'm hoping for the last race this season, we've got a full house and it's really competitive out there. You know, ultimately Monza is a pretty tough track. I think in the setup, the configuration they are running, we're going to skip the pleasantries of the normal turn of one snafus. But it's going to be really interesting. You know, we've got a nice racetrack. We've got the banked corners. I think we're out for a good race.
Well, who do you have to thank that does all the good stuff for you here to get that podium finish tonight?
Oh, I want to thank guys at the back of the factory. You know, we lost our Ford sponsorship last week, so we were no longer racing the Mustangs. We got picked up by Team Lamborghini this week, and they ran awesome out here, you know, at Sebring for us. So really happy with the car's performance. Guys back at the factory with Zoot Lord Racing. Would also like to give a huge shout out to Jam Printing Promotions, MK Fire Design, and Zag Graphics. V Speed, Alexander PCs, and the whole team at Goat Locker Racing. You guys are fantastic. I love watching these races after the fact.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you out there next week.
Hey, thank you so much. Have a good night, guys.
That was your second place finisher, Chad Gross.
All right, I'm down here with third place finisher Derek Folk. Derek, you led an hour and 53 minutes of this race. What happened there at the end that cost you all the way back to third?
Yeah, it was a little unfortunate tonight due to a couple of team strategy orders and a slow pit stop. I ultimately was required to slow down a little bit. Principal was yelling at on the radio, and obviously bringing a 1-2-3 home tonight for Zoot Lord was a great night. A lot of fun out there driving with these guys. So it was fun pushing each other. Playing a little bit of the team strategy games and working away around the traffic, but ultimately it was a great time for the 2 hours out here tonight.
Well, you joined GLR about halfway through the season. You won a few races, but now you found some friends to bring here with you. You locked out the podium for tonight. Do you think you have the same strategy to take it next weekend to round out the season at Monza?
Yeah, I'd hope so. It's going to be a fun race. I love the combined layout. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Monza can always give some great racing. So hopefully we'll be able to keep it clean and keep it on track and bring home another podium spot for ZLR.
All right. Well, who do you have to thank for locking out the podium tonight?
Absolutely. Love to thank all the guys over at iRacing, MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, Zach Graphics, the Lamborghini Super Trofeo team, and everyone back at the Zoot Lord factory.
All right. That's Derek Folk, your third place finisher tonight.
Well, that was a pretty awesome race for our last endurance race of the season. But next week we're doing Monza. So, what do you think about Monza, Corey? I don't know if you have any experience there, but that is a pretty fun track.
Well, I've done some racing there, and it's definitely got a few tricks up its sleeve, and it's going to be a great race for us to call from the booth. At the end of the day, I think it's really just going to be the Jeremy Big Daddy Gardner victory parade, but we're going to have some good racing, and we're going to celebrate the championship season that he put together.
Yeah, really looking forward to that, and calling that race again with you. So I guess with that, we'll bid everyone adieu. We got to thank our sponsors. Tonight's race has been brought to you by MK Fire Design, a design company that specializes in custom wooden flags. Also brought to you by Zach Graphics. They can put your design on almost anything. And of course, Save 22, fighting first responder and veteran suicide. I'm Ken Huber, been working alongside Corey Smith, got Tim Jones on production again as usual tonight, and then the cameras were provided by Dougie Beard. Look forward to seeing everyone here next week at the same time. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend.